Good num num morning. It's that time again. It's a time that I've been dreading a little bit, if I'm honest. I have been dreading it a little bit because I am very aware that we are pretty close to the end of the game. We're still technically in chapter 10, and last time we left off, we were mid-talking to everyone. It was like having like one last conversation after a big... finally getting our welcome party, thanks to Reina, Kokoro, and Yuki. And it felt very much that we're going to do this and then go off to the final dungeon kind of thing. So I think we'll do this and it will say chapter 11, and maybe chapter 11 will actually be the last chapter of the game. Instead of the 12 I was kind of hoping it'd be. Just because the first game was 12. But that being said, we've got people to talk to. Oh hey Camo, I literally just started. Let's see how this goes. I said this might very well be the last stream of the game before, you know, I start my hard mode playthrough. I said I didn't do any streams over the weekend because ultimately I just needed to cool off. Some things happened at work and it didn't involve me, it just still affected me, if that makes sense. And I just needed time to just kind of cool off and chill and come back to this game with full spirit, so here we are. Kokoro's cooking really is something, isn't it? Indeed. Though on a technical level, I think you are better, Shio. Oh no, that isn't what I mean. Nor am I denying Kokoro's culinary skill either, of course. But food that someone else made for you just tastes different, you know? Yeah, my mum cooked for us a lot, and she said she wanted to eat other people's cooking sometimes. Exactly. Are you saying you're tired of cooking all the time? No, not at all. I know how to cook a few meals, so I can step in for you anytime. I have also improved my cooking skills, I believe. Kirara, you nearly poisoned us last time you cooked. We can always help with other chores too. I'm fine, honestly. Thank you for asking, but maybe you're right. I should take a break from time to time. I'll talk to you two last, because if there's any two characters that immediately tells to me you'd advance the plot, it's those two. So I'll leave them till last. I want to see what's going on in here. Okay. Oh, the OG trio. I'm glad everyone seems to be enjoying themselves. I'm glad you took the time you need and hope all's good. Just like the Hirahara sisters. Ooh, fair enough. Yeah, I'm alright now. It was... I don't mind talking about it because it's been made... I say that, it's not like you know my personal life, but been made public in my personal group, if that makes sense. That one of the members of staff, one of the longest running members of staff at the company I worked at, unfortunately passed away on Friday morning. I didn't realise that because I streamed on Friday morning. I didn't know anything about it until that evening, and it just kind of knocked me sideways for the whole weekend. It was very much a mentor / motherly member of staff that always looked after us, and she didn't have any conditions, she didn't have any illnesses, she didn't have anything like that. She literally just didn't wake up on Friday morning, and that was it. That was all she wrote. Literally. And so it just kind of, it being so sudden, so out of place, it kind of just, the whole of like company that I work at, it rocked all of us because of how much of a pillar she was. And we all just kind of needed a bit of space and time to kind of process things and figure shit out. And like, I felt mostly alright yesterday morning, but I didn't want to come into this and like then feel a bit down or out of it kind of thing. So I eventually just decided, you know what, I'll take yesterday off as well and then come back at it today. And I slept really well last night, so I've got a lot of more like gung-ho in me, shall we say. But yeah, you seem to be making progress. You've got the Hirahara sisters. It's weird that that dungeon's only 2 layers, but I get it because, you know, like it's kind of 1 per sister. The first area feels very Hiyori, whilst the later one feels very Mio. So I guess it makes sense to have 1 each, but there's a part of me that kind of wishes they gave each of the sisters, 2 areas. So it was 4 zones in total in the end, which yeah would have made it bigger, but at the same time, it would have allowed more of the actual dungeon itself to flesh out those sisters. because it feels like their development to getting their memories back is rushed quite a bit. Like, it still works and it still does it, but you also have to keep in mind it's sharing time with them establishing Uta as well. And so it's not only just them getting their memories back, it's also you learning about Uta before you learn you meet the real Uta. And so it felt like the Hirohara sisters just needed a little bit more time than what they get. At least personally. In reflection, I think they do. But at the same time, I get why they only did it 2, because then it makes Uta's dungeon stand out more by the fact that that has 4 areas. Anyway, I thought everyone would just be annoyed we put it off for so long, but no one seemed to mind. Yeah, we were stressing about it for a while. But I feel I should have arranged this whole thing. I'm supposedly the leader after all. Don't be silly, you've already done so much for us. We just want to help you get through all of this. We're in a pretty bad spot, you know. God, origin, whatever you want to call it. I feel like my brain's going to explode just thinking about it. And that's exactly why we thought we should have some time to ourselves. Yeah, no point in worrying about something we can't know. So we should just live however we want. Yuki, I think you'd do that regardless. Yeah, that's such a Yuki thing to say. I'll take it as a compliment. Alright, anyone else want to chit-chat before we go to Uzu and Lime? No, okay. Hello, you two. Having a welcome party at a time like this. Honestly, it feels almost irresponsible. You say that, but you're having the most fun of everyone here. Well, you know, when life gives you lemons. I don't think that applies here. Life isn't giving you lemons, it's giving you, like, ice cream. At any rate, seeing all of you like this, it gives us hope. Hope that the world can be put back to how it was. Something else that I've noticed as well, and it's a tiny thing, Lime's hair, how they've, like, designed her hair, is a little bit more controlled than it was in the first game. And I get it, in the first game it seemed to clip with absolutely everything in the universe, but it's like now she's got it, like, you can see it's pinned back over her ears when it wasn't really like that in the first game, and it's not as flowy as it was. So if you're lost, but glad you're feeling better. I feel like I would be further in if I didn't make a ton of photo mode pictures. Yeah, it's really tempting, isn't it? I wouldn't be surprised if my hard mode playthrough turns into that a lot, especially because, you know, we'll know the context of a lot of it a lot better. And so the Hiroharas are like the Haru of this game. Yeah, like, they're still great characters, and they're still well done. And Haru may not even be the best comparison, when you consider with Haru's case, there's no character after her that she can bounce off to flesh out her character. She's the last one before it gets into, like, big plot shit. So in this game, it'd be more accurate to say Uta fits that role. But Uta gets a shit ton of screen time and development, and shows up in earlier memories. So she's teased and built up a lot better than Haru is in P5, where Haru doesn't really show up other than maybe you can see her in the background in 1 or 2 scenes, but you don't interact with her, you don't learn anything about her until it's her chapter. Whilst Uta, you have a decent idea of who she is, and it's cleverly done because your idea of who she is radically different to the girl that shows up. Because, you know, she hasn't got any memories of her sadistic side at that point. And but so it just feels like the Hirohara sisters just get a little knocked to the side, but I'm also aware that there's probably a very good deliberate reason why not all the resources in the world were put in those two, and it's because they're in the anime. And from what I can tell, they're super significant in the anime. I just haven't sat down and watched any of it, it's just I know they're in it, same as Uta is effectively the main villain of the anime. Because, you know, it's before the events of this game, it's based between the first 2 games. And so it's back when she's in full evil sadist mode, and it's like in communication with the Sephira and trying to, you know, destroy the world to create her own without empathy or emotion, so she doesn't feel different anymore. Sorry, we shouldn't be talking about this kind of thing at a party. No, it actually makes me feel a bit better. With a group of girls like this, everything would be alright. That's what we have to believe anyway. Attention, everyone! Sorry to interrupt while the party's in full swing, but we have a few words we'd like to say. First, let's give our 3 cheers. Hip hip! What is this, the 1800s? Just give me a normal speech. Esteemed guests, thank you for coming today. The party gave me the opportunity to reflect on our memories here together. Get it? Reflections with reflectors? Haha! It made me startlingly aware of just how much we have experienced together. Is this what you would call a normal speech? That's rich coming from you, Kirara. But really, all these memories are super important to me. And well, if I'm being honest, I'd like things to stay like this forever. Yeah, I think everyone feels it a little bit. But the end will come either way, whether it's for the better or for worse. The end. I want to make sure it's all for the best. Let's keep smiling. I know we'll all meet again. Until then, let's all do our best. Yeah, that was a pretty good speech for you, Yuki. Right, next up is Ao. Ah, shit. Wait. Was that not the closing speech? Nah, I thought I should leave that to our leader. But I haven't prepared anything. You can do it, Ao. Well. So I thought I'd just let that motorbike pass by. I don't really know what to say, but... Arigato, everyone. Thank you all. Short and sweet. Well, that's our Hoshizaki. Now I'm telling me like, hey, who are you calling short? We're grateful too, Ao. Thank you for always pushing us forward. And not only that, thank you for always looking out for each one of us. Yeah! You're always the first to encourage us whenever something goes wrong. But you also make time to goof off with us too. You are kind, Ao. Yes, you truly are kind. You welcomed even someone like me into the group. Thank you. Aww. You care more about this world and about us than anyone else. My favourite photo picture is Ao and Hina trying to take a picture with Kirara, who looks half asleep, but Yuki photobombs and Reina's looking impatient in the background. Okay, so you've been really having fun with the photo mode, I get. You've been really fucking around. All I did was slap Yuki on a desk so she'd be high enough to kiss Reina. That being said, I want to do something with Uta and Ao at some point. I have no idea what, but I want to do something kind of... I have an idea. It's just whether I can make it work. I'd have to see what pose I can put Uta in to make it work. So much that I bet you're worrying even now. Although you look easygoing and carefree on the outside, you really do worry a lot. But you don't need to, Ao. We're always behind you. What's gone into all of you? Part of the reason we had this party was to let you know how we felt. Yeah, to complete your harem. Everyone loves you, Ao. I see. Everyone knows I've been worrying about something. That's why Kokoro spent the whole day hanging out with me. That's right. I'm not alone. No matter what it is, we can all get through it together. That's what I've learned in my time here. I don't even know if this will work yet, but that's exactly why I shouldn't worry about it alone. I sort of everyone else. Instead of standing here, why don't we have a big group hug? Make a giant circle, everyone. I had something else I'd like to talk to you about tomorrow. Of course, we'll be waiting. Tell us what's on your mind, Ao. I really do love everyone here. all the memories I made in this world, in the end, those are the only things that matter to me. I want to save everyone. Even more than that, I want to be with everyone. That's why I have to do it. I have a plan. A way we can save everybody. When I look Uta, my game's not progressing for a while. The yin-yang picture temptation is strong. Two sides of the same coin. A plan? You do? What is it? Oh, like the music. We can't stop the world from being destroyed. That's why we'll change after. We'll change the world after it's destroyed. After? Origin is trying to reconstruct the world. And all of you got caught up during the collapse. Isn't that right, Uta? Yes, that's right. That means we have to recreate the world exactly as it used to be. If we can do that, then our loved ones won't disappear and everything will be back to normal. That's a lot to put on 10 to 12 girls, depending on whether you count Yuzu and Lime and all this. Hey, recreate the entire goddamn world. You know, every country, everything, literally be the gods of your world again. We can live like the ash never fell. Exactly. All this time, we've been trying to stop it, but we failed. Oh, it's the theme again. The main theme's creeping in. So instead of trying to stop it, we can use it to make everything go back to normal. In other words, we do exactly what Uta tried to do when she was our enemy. Of course we agree with Uta's plan, but in a different perspective. You know, just to add to their dynamic. To remake the world as we please. But this time, we will make the world to be exactly like the old world. Uta's ideal world probably wouldn't be ideal. I think I understand, but... is it even possible? Wouldn't we basically need a miracle for something like that to happen? Would it even be possible for us to accomplish what Uta attempted to do? We cannot know everything for certain. That is what makes this so difficult. What would happen to Ao? I don't know. But if there's a chance everyone could be saved, and I could stay with you all, I thought that was the most important thing. Yeah, but Uta can see for what Ao's actual plan is for what it's worth. Because Ao doesn't exist in the real world, I don't think. She's not a part of the collective unconscious one way or another. And I think Uta's caught onto that quite strongly. That there's a good chance if we remake the world entirely as it is, Ao might not be a part of that. Ao might have to sort of replace what Lime was doing with this and kind of be the protector of the realm and stay behind. Because she doesn't exist in the real world. That's an unfortunate consequence. She isn't a part of the collective's unconscious. Whatever's gone on her mind, her memory, isn't real. And my reason for believing this is because of how normal her heartscape is. Her normal is generic seaside town in generic nowhere, with a school 2 blocks away from her house, in a generic neighborhood with nothing really stark or contrast out other than, you know, fucking Origin, the big Origin gate thing. I think her memories are fake, which is why they're so standardized. There's nothing exaggerant about them. There's no windmills in the sea, there's no giant stars surrounding people, there's no cities coming at all angles, there's no endless sunflower fields with a giant sunflower sun, there's no, you know, autumn fields that leads into a gargantuan secret base. It's just a standard as fuck town. Like it's an implanted memory, like it's not real. I don't think Ao's real, full stop. I think she's just something that exists in this realm. At least that's my theory. We don't know every detail yet. That's just my theory that I've been thinking on. I thought that was the most important thing. Ow. I understand that we'd be using Uta's plan, but how do we possibly communicate with Origin? Was Ao conjured by the original 3 girls because they said they can will things to existence here? Did they wish for Ao? Maybe. I think for the world to become a part of the Ash and the Wing to Fall, it wasn't all based on Darth's defeat in the first game and the world becoming a godless realm after Hina's victory over it. I think there was a catalyst. and something had to be made to be the tool to push everything forward to make the catalyst happen. I think Ao has to do with that. I think she was at one point maybe a part of the real world, but I think she was created. I don't think like she has actual parents. She just believes she does, because she had a very standard memory of her mum telling her off for spending all summer in her room, but that was it. She has a very standard school memory. Like, she has a very implanted memory to just be like any other like schoolgirl or like approaching college age schoolgirl, and that's it. What about Yuki? Me? Yuki has a connection to the world system. If we could use that to communicate our emotions to it. I see. If we could combine everyone's emotions into one and send it, it's not completely impossible. Even if our chances are close to 0, it means that there's still a chance. But there are things we need to consider. First of all, even if it works, we have no way of knowing if we'll be able to live the same lives in the new world. At the very least, creating a world without the ash will drastically change the lives of those who are affected by it. You're right. This may depend on how you will feel, but even if things were to go back to the way they were, would the rebuilt world really be the same as the one that was destroyed? Everyone would forget everything that had happened until now and start over. I think it's up to each person to decide if they can accept that. Give up your... Oh, fuck. I think I already... Oh, no. I'm going to shut up, because I think I already know how this game's going to end and what the true ending's going to try and alter. I guess we can't assume that everyone wants the same thing. I think they're all going to agree to do it, and the normal ending is that they do forget, but Ao stays here, so none of them remember Ao. That's my theory. And then I think the true ending will be finding a way to, you know, break that one way or another, so Ao gets to live as a normal girl. That's my big Giga Brain theory. Reina might have never met Yuki if she didn't have Ash syndrome. Yeah, because she got moved into Reina's town. But most importantly, but I'd like to believe, going to that though, that they're kind to star-crossed lovers. They're destined to find each other, because they found each other once, got separated, lost their memory, and yet found each other again in this realm. Even though they shared the building, you know what I mean? Like, they could have easily not happened to have fallen in love again, but they did anyway. There was already signs, even before Reina's memory, that Reina cared a bit more for Yuki's safety than the others. And that Yuki always felt like she was keeping an eye out for Reina. More so because she was expected to be told off, but still kept an eye out for Reina at all times. They were on each other's minds, even when they didn't remember the love they had. So I, in my optimistic brain, would believe that they would find each other again. I'm more thinking that that Ao will be forgotten. That Ao will cease to exist because she has no connection to the unconscious, to the collective unconscious, sorry. And so everyone will forget she exists. And then the true ending, maybe, will be trying to find a way to break that. That's my theory, anyway. We only get one shot at this. There'll be no turning back. But still, I believe there's a chance. I've always thought I was putting all of you in danger by existing. But everyone forgave me, and gave me a place to stay. I always wanted to do something that could be of use to everyone. I can't even fight in this world. That's the interesting thing, actually. I thought Yuki not being able to fight was the hint that she might be dead. But then Kurara joined the party, and I was like, oh, no, never mind. And so I put that theory to one side a little bit before we got to Chapter 8 and, like, everything kind of put it in, like, full picture. But if I can be the one to get us through this, I'll do anything I can. Oh, it's the... Aww. The battle theme. Yuki! There's nothing else we can do, is there? We have to rebuild from square one. I've missed this battle theme. That's right. We couldn't find another way to return the world to the way it was. Actually, is this the... Hang on. I need to hear for a little bit. It's the first game's battle theme. Because I remember this bit where it goes super heavy. on the instrument. I love the way this game sometimes like just dabbles in a bit of the first game's soundtrack. In that case, I'm for rebuilding the world. Even if it means forgetting everything. I think there's a reason I'm still living while the world is dying. It's thanks to the feelings of all the people who have supported me in my life. My mother, my father, my friends from school, all my teammates who fought with me. It's our feelings that connect people to each other, the past to the future. Even if I could live to become an old woman in Oasis, there would be nothing left afterwards. Even the feelings you gave me will disappear. But there's a chance that recreating the world gives us a future. I want to take that chance. The final fight. All we can do now is pray, wish, and hope. It was like that for me as well. Yeah, actually, that's a good point, Hina. You make a. I mean, if they made Yuzuru Line fight members with the final boss, that would be fucking dope. I doubt it, but it'd be cool. But that's actually a good point Hina brought up there. She was referring to the events at the end of the first game, where she went into the final battle knowing without a shadow of a doubt that after the final battle was over, she and everyone would forget that Yuzuru Line existed. But she prayed from the bottom of her heart throughout the entire fight that that wouldn't happen, and lo and behold, after the fight and Yuzuru Line vanished, yes, Hina's memories were startled at first, but when she went back to bed and slept the night, she woke up the next morning and she remembered Yuzuru Line. So she did get to remember. She defied that logic. So Hina there talking about it, she's saying, well, even if it was just a one-off, there's a chance it could happen again. That we could all remember this if we really want to. I'd rather fight than wait for that to happen. I agree. We believed in Yuki, we believed in Uta, we believed in Ao. Believing in everyone has gotten us this far. I don't see any reason to stop now. Let's do it, let's take our lives back. Alright, all the music. Here's what we're going to do. First, we need to prepare to deliver our emotional power. We need to create a path to send our combined emotions. Second, we need to gather everyone's fragments. All the remaining feelings will be in the foundation for the new world. Is it okay for us to collect the fragments now? Yes, we still have time until Oasis breaks for good. We should get started on both. It's time to finish what we started. I don't want to think about what will happen if we fail, but this will be our last time in this world. So let's give it all we've got. Yay! Is this final dates? Ooh, one with Reina, one with Best Girl. Okay. But yeah, I think these are this is the final opportunity. This feels very, this is the end, make your fucking choice. Before we go see what that is, where's everyone's talent level at, so I know who to beeline for? Because from what I've learnt, or it's a similar thing where a party member goes into a fight knowing their fate and fights for all they've got regardless, love motives like that, yeah. Because what I'm looking at here is, I've learnt that it's not impossible, but it is ungodly difficult to max out everyone's, or anyone for that matter's, talent level on your first playthrough. However, when you go into New Game Plus, you carry over half of your talent levels, so everyone will be hovering around 4 and 5. So in New Game Plus, it's a far more capable and far more, like, probable for you to be able to max everyone out. I'm just taking the step back to think on it and be like, who should I be favouring at this point to give me the best chance next time? Because as it stands, Shio, how far behind Shio seems to be, there's a chance Shio just won't get any opportunity. I mean, I say that. That's not true, because obviously we can just favour her in these events on New Game Plus to make sure she gets a bigger boost. But you know what I mean, right? Like, everyone seems to be a little okay, and then there's just Shio. And she doesn't even have a new date now, does she? Hang on. No! Aww. Is it gonna make me choose from everyone? Hey everyone, we don't have much time left here, so how about we split up and clean the school? What a great idea. It is a common courtesy to clean up after yourself. What? I hate cleaning. Oh, come on now. She was the highest talent rank on mine, oddly. Fair enough. Yeah, because she gets a whole bunch early on. It's just she kind of dries out later on in the game, it feels like. At least for me. At least for me, you've seen it as. Come on now, I've got a fabulous prize for the person who works the hardest. Oh, you've got a reward for us, huh? What is it? You'll all receive a special one-of-a-kind Best Cleaner award from yours truly. Not good enough? No, I'd love a prize like that. Alright then, let the great cleaning competition begin. So, I will now assess what everyone did and declare the winner. I cleaned the classrooms. The desks that have served us all too well look like they're new again. Oh my god, I've just realised this event, they're literally doing the last one out, get the lights kind of thing. When they head out to the last Heartscape, they have no intention of coming back here in the narrative. This is literally the very last time there'll be an Oasis, like, in the story. That's why they're doing this. It's not just the whole, let's clean up after ourselves. It's literally, once they leave here, that's it. We're in the end. I did the gym. I made sure to get all the nooks and crannies. I was with Yuki in the gym. There wasn't much to be cleaned, to be honest. Of course, you was with her. I cleaned up the nurse's office. I really hope we don't have to use it again. I tidied up the library. There were lots of books to take care of, but it was fun. I handled the roof. The breeze felt nice. And once again, she referred to herself in the third person in Japanese. I'm sure she said Kurara handled the roof. I find it interesting. That's probably like the only thing I'd criticize about the localization. The localization felt a little too eager to change a few things. Yeah, she cleans the front courtyard multiple times. Like, there's like little things like that. Like, Hiyori always talks about Oni-chan or Oni-san instead of Mio. Yet in the subtitles, they changed it to Mio. Kirara regularly refers to herself in the third person, yet she doesn't in the localization. I just found that interesting that they kind of steered off that. Or like, there's been a number of times where I've heard senpai, chants, and you know, things like that, and the subtitle doesn't have it at all. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I said they've made it so it's easier to follow for someone who isn't into Japanese media, but at the same time, this game is anime as fuck, so I don't think they needed to do that. Me next! I did the workroom. I made sure all the plates and pots were sparkly clean. The hallway should be perfect now. They were considerably dirty due to our daily use. Oh Jesus, Mio, that's an awful lot of work. If you did the hallway. I straightened up the garden and the area around it. I'll only be able to take care of them for a little while longer. Sounds like the person who put in the most effort was... Oh my... Oh, so this is literally, who do you want one last boost in? This is literally what it is. It's who do you want one last boost in? Oh. So Kokoro... Hang on. Kokoro did classrooms. Yuki and Reina worked together in the gym, but Reina admitted they really didn't do much. Hina did the nurse's office. Shio did the library. Kurara handled the roof. Hiyori cleaned up their workroom. So, you know, the cooking, the crafting, and all that stuff. So that room should look all nice. Mio easily did the hardest work because the hallways are long. So if she said she did hallways, she's implying she did both floors hallways, like thoroughly cleaned, like ran the vacuum cleaner down, like scrubbed clean in every angle. Like that's a shit ton of work. And Uta got to do what she loves anyway because of her connection to her grandma and cleaned up the gardening. Mio should get the award, but I have to consider that she was already planet level 9 and already pretty high on it. I should be going for someone else. Yeah, you know, like Kokoro or Mew, but it's like... Because the classrooms... Like, there was two of them. Like the upstairs one was already pretty clean, so it was more just cleaning up our and Yuki's mess, if we're being honest. But at the same time, it's like, I want to give it to Shio because she's at the lowest rank, but at the same time, stacking some books, I did that all the fucking time in school. That's not unique. Or do I just let my bias kicking in and vote Uta? Or do you think they'd start calling me out? They'd be like, hey, she just did the garden! Yeah. Yeah, I've got a relatively decent sized garden and it's a fucking nightmare to keep on top of. Do I go for what's probably the hardest work, or do I go for bias? Ah, fuck it, I'll be biased. Uta, I saw you talking to the flowers in the garden. I heard you saying thanks to them. I'm not sure myself why such word escapes my lips, but if taking care of them, I just felt... Yep. I felt how deeply in my heart the flowers have taken root. I realised how they've been healing me all this time, and I wanted to let them know how I felt. So the words just flowed out of you, huh? I'm sure the flowers were happy to hear you say that, Uta. Uta, I bestow upon you the Best Cleaner Award. Will you accept it? Of course. Ow, everyone. Thank you so much. And I can argue this, it's not just my bias kicking in. Uta, even after she was welcomed into the family, so to speak, properly, was still hesitant that she felt like an outsider to the family because of her history. What easier or bigger thing to show that, no, you are a part of us than giving her an award like this? You know? Giving her this kind of gratitude. Kind of sad that we have to leave this school, but... yeah. We can't stay here forever. She does need more credit. Our summer vacation... oh no, it's Kingdom Hearts 2 all over again. Looks like my summer vacation is... over. Oh, and then Al passed out, apparently. I haven't slept that well in a while. What's this, a letter? To Ao Hoshizaki. I wonder who it's from. Oh, there's a name written on the back. Let's see. Who do you want to spend one last date with? Who do you want the person to summon you to be? Oh my god. Oh, that's so cute. Of course it's going to be Uta. Oh, it's from Uta. That looks like a thank you letter. Oh my god, that's so clever. You get to decide who you get your last special date with like that. It's about Ao instead. Oh, I can just go ask her in person. Hey, Ao, you wrote me a letter, didn't you? I'm so happy, thank you. There's a vending machine blocking the way, but ignore it. But why a letter all of a sudden? You pick who it's from? That's super meta. Yeah, but it's cute. So that neither you nor I would forget. I was only able to face who I used to be thanks to the courage you gave me. The problem is, when we get to the New Game Plus run, I'm going to want to pick Uta again. But I probably shouldn't to see more other scenes. Regardless of the kind of person I was, you smiled upon me and helped me bond with everybody else. Did I really do all that? I just wanted to be friends with you. Actually, I know what I'll do in New Game Plus. Because I'll know it's coming in New Game Plus, when we get to that point again, I'll save and we'll go through everyone. Sort of like what I did back in, what was it, end of chapter 7, when Owl's got doubts and the game tells you to go talk to someone about it, and I then saved and went through talking to everyone. Did I really do all that? I just wanted to be friends with you. It is okay that you do not understand how profound that is to me. Oh, Uta's basically saying, like, it doesn't matter if you don't understand how I feel. It means everything to me anyway. I am happy to have met you. Even if I were to forget everything else, I want this feeling to be etched onto my soul. And I want you to know it. Oh, Uta! So that is why I wrote you a letter. Uta, I'm glad to have met you too. We have plenty more good times together from here on. Yes, I hope we will. I was surprised to get a letter out of nowhere, but I'll cherish it as if it was Uta herself. Aww. Oh fuck, there's another scene. Oh wow, I didn't realise how many photos I've taken. Don't call me out, game. Shut up. Ow. Well, I wonder how much longer I'll get to be with everyone. I wish I could record more memories. Oh, I know. I should be taking videos instead of pictures. I should get one of each of the girls. Alright, who should I start with? Oh my god! Okay, the game is like full on. This is all of this scene is. This moment, the entire of it is saying, who do you want to get these final boosts on? That's entirely what this game is doing. It's saying, who do you want to get these final boosts to try and cap out? I want to see if we can max out Uta then. So let's go triple trouble and get Uta again. Uta, mind if I ask you some questions? But that's absolutely what this bit is. Which, for you, Camo, it gives you a good idea. If there's a character falling behind, it might be in your best interest when you get to this point to prioritize them. Ow, it's me in photo mode right now. Do you realize how many photos I took? Yeah. But this is actually a good thing, like, to note for New Game Plus and for you when you get to it, that it's basically 3 choices of who do you desperately need to boost date points with. Or feel that you do it. Like, I'm prioritizing Uta because, you know, I'm a stickler for my narrative that they belong together, so... But, in New Game Plus, if by some miracle, not all of them are max rank by that point, I can just prioritize, who I feel like at that point. Mind if I ask you some questions? Questions? For me? Yeah. What do you remember most about your time in this world? Perhaps becoming close friends with Hiyori and Mio? I see, you 3 had been through a lot before you came to this world, right? Yes, but the person that brought us together was you, Al. Your hands are always so warm. I was like, I'm trying to take a video. It's her. I'm sorry. It seems like you were in need of some comforting. Aww. I'm afraid of returning to our world. I don't think I even deserve to. The only reason I was able to resist... Look at Al's face, she looks a little starstruck. ...was taken over by my past self was because everybody stood by me. Especially you, Al. As the lighting has a bit of a weird issue with the camera angle in the background. If I forget everything returning to our world, I worry that I'll end up... You won't, Uta. Even if you forget everything, even if we are torn far apart, the Uta I know will always be within you. Within me? Yeah, so don't worry. Even if you forget everyone, I'm sure it will come back to you. I get it now. I've been afraid too. Talking to Uta helps me realize that. Your hands, they're so warm, Al. I know this warmth will remain with me. So... Oh, so will you hold my hand again in our world too? Uta! Oh, Uta! Of course I will. That was her going, I'm saving this fucking video forever. Of course I will. Let's hold hands and go see some sunflowers. The video you took. Did you just delete it? I did. You helped me see that I don't need it, Uta. Oh! I learned in this playthrough that those scenes where you pick characters' options or others boost the talent level, which helped me a lot. If it's got, like, the little, like, character icon on its scene, it always means the choice you make in it will affect the talent level of whoever you agree with. Which is why for a while I was always prioritizing who was the lowest. It was only when Uta joined the team that I started leaning onto her so much more because of how quickly I was endeared to her. Which is something I also want to compliment on this game. We went into Uta's character expecting to be wary or her to be different or troubling because of the sadistic nature. We went into it not trusting her. And yet, literally, it was like less than 20 minutes later, I was like, oh, I like this about Uta. I really like that about Uta. I think this part of Uta's really interesting. Like, I was already, like, getting endeared to her within, like, the first 15 minutes of her being introduced. And so, like, I think that the game managed to do that with a character that's introduced as a antagonist at first. I mean, it's the Persona 5 trope. I said Persona 5's biggest trick is that absolutely every single character in the game is first introduced as a villain. Every single character. They're introduced as someone who is either against you or doesn't agree with you or is antagonistic in some form or another, and then you learn more about them and it changes your mind. Obviously, it doesn't work for every character. Some characters, even after you learn more about them, you still think they're a bit of a piece of shit, like Kamoshida and Shido. But every single character has more to them than first meets the eye, but every single one of them, as a consistent theme, introduces themselves as some form of antagonistic force first. These two are the next Reina and Yuki. I think Uta was becoming one of my favourite characters in fiction, and that speaks miles. Yeah, I adore Uta. I've been talking about it here and there with things, but Uta genuinely blew me away with how much I have adored her character and what she goes through and how she understands the world, what her quirks are, what she likes, and how she presents what she likes. Everything about how Uta is, her past and everything, is genuinely one of the most endearing and most charming and most interesting characters I've seen in a very long time, and I adore this girl. There's a reason why, and it will probably stay there for forever because I just auto when I make the description for all my live streams, which just says, you know, please like and subscribe, genuinely really helps, and then the Twitter and Patreon, at the bottom it now just says Uta Best Girl. I put that there a couple streams back. And because it just, when I set up a live stream, it just saves the previous description. It keeps on having the bit that just says Uta Best Girl, and it's like, I don't know if I'm going to get rid of that anytime soon. Even when we do stop playing this, we'll be playing Sonic Origins on Thursday, and people will hop in and go, "Who the fuck's Uta?" Because I need to watch the anime at some point as well. But the thing is, like I said, you got to keep in mind, the anime is based between the first two games. So the anime will be back when she's in full sadistic villain mode. I said that's when she's actually, like, when they talk about what her goal used to be in this game, they're talking about the anime, I'm pretty sure. Where she had a link to the Sephiroth, or the Sephiroths. She was tied to them, treated them as their god, and had every intention of rebuilding a world without emotional empathy, so then she could feel normal. Which is radically different to the Uta we've fallen in love with here. There's the smile I know. Thank you, Uta. Had it not been for you, I wouldn't have realised what was most important. No, not best, which will always be accurate. I'll keep our memories in my heart forever. I'll never forget them. Oh my god, there's another one? This world is made up of our memories, right? You're absolutely sure about this, right, Yuzu and Lime? Yeah. Yes, but why do you have such a serious look on your face? So if I wish for something with all my might, it could happen. Let me grow another inch. Oh, because she's 4'9". Oh. Yuki's like, make me taller. No. Instantly rejected. You could have at least given me a little thought. It's not like that, Yuki. You see, we've actually tried it already, but it didn't work. Oh, right, because Lime's not that tall either. Then that makes us comrades, striving to achieve the same ideals. That was a thing. Right. Uta didn't get points on one of those 3 events. I don't know which one of those 3 it was, but one of those 3 events, Uta didn't get points. And you want to know? You want to know what I think that means? I think we just found our little ticket to the true ending in New Game Plus. Obviously, it doesn't let you in your first run. I think, this is entirely me theorizing, but I've played video games since I was like 3, so I pick up on shit like this. I think one of those scenes was who's going to remember Ao and the true ending. And I think it might have been that second one. That second one when it was the who sent the letter, because Uta spent the whole of it talking about how no matter what, she'll never forget Al. I think in the true ending, whoever you picked will remember Al, and that will be Al's ticket out of this the Oasis when they rebuild the world. I'm sticking to it. That's my big hunch. Because I was expecting Uta to be like 1 or 2 points short of rank 10 after this. So the fact that she's 13 off, I was like, ooh, okay. She didn't get one of them. I'll be curious to see with these talent, if these carry over. If our talent level gets halved, I imagine we will lose access to some skills. But I'm curious if some of them will remain learned. Like, at least some of them will remain learned. Alright, where is Uta? Oh, you're right, you need to actually accept this side quest. What's up? You're going to get everyone's fragments in their heartscapes, aren't you? Yeah, we need more power to rebuild the world. Collecting fragments also means touching that person's heart. And we know that the demons that appear in the heartscape are made of emotional distress. So since you are treading deep into our hearts, you will likely encounter even greater distress. So you're trying to say the enemies would... this is Mio saying, hey, if you go back to old dungeons, there might be new enemies. It's only an educated... I'm not even doing Mio's voice properly, sorry. It's only an educated guess, but I believe so. I hope you will make sure to prepare yourself. Like how Hina swore she'd remember Yuzu and Lyman did. Yeah, exactly. This game, there are a couple things from the first game... Don't move. There we go, I've taken my screenshot. Sorry. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. There's a lot of this game, that is deliberately patterning the first game. And it's a trope that happens sometimes when, not just in games, in films as well, when the second entry is sort of reinventing itself, they use the first entry's template to work it off. This game has been templating itself a lot off the first. The classic example is Yuki being dead when Yuzu and Lime are dead. And the fact that Al might be forgotten about in the same vein that Yuzu and Lime might be forgotten about. It's patterns from the first two games. So I think having it have the same pattern in the ending, that we find a way to be remembered anyway, just in this game you have to work a little harder for it, whilst in the first game it just happens, makes more sense. And then in whatever third entry, the third entry will be the one that will probably break away from the spine and be a radically different game. Which, speaking of, whilst we're standing around, before I get into this date with Uta, that's my biggest hope for the third game, is for them to break the trend they've made here. I don't want the third game to be another new main character. I honestly don't. And I know that's restricting the creativity and whatnot. They might have something really cool with a new cast of characters and whatnot. But I think there's more story you could tell with the cast we have. And my reasoning for this is that there's a little game called Final Fantasy IV The After Years, which did this formula really well. In After Years, the entirety of Base 4's original cast comes back, but they introduce new faces on top of it. And they get away with it because you already know half those characters. You already know all the main characters, and you already know most of their development. So any new inklings or trinkets they get on their development, like Kain becoming a paladin in After Years, it's just a nice extra because you already have the establishment of the character. Whilst the new faces get more room to breathe because they're not not contending with 10 other faces for attention. Well, they are technically, but you know what I mean. Like, they're not having to contend for it as severely. So I would genuinely, for the next game, no, that's not what I want. Where's the one that's got all of their faces on it? No, it'll be on profiles actually. I still didn't click on it. I thought it'd be the next one down. Keep the top row entirely, no matter what, because they're the new faces in this game, and it'd be nice to see them again. Keep Hina, so like Al and Hina around. And keep Uta no matter what, because I love Uta. I want them to keep everyone, but I'm trying to be realistic if they wanted to keep the party group down. Like, who could they drop theoretically? I mean, technically they could drop almost everyone other than the starting four and Hina, because Shio, Kirara, Hiyori, Mio, and Uta are all tied to the anime as well. So their stories already have, have already expanded 2 entries. They've expanded the anime and this. So they could technically be dropped, but I really don't want them to. Don't drop Uta. Also, small thing, tiny little thing, I've mentioned it before, if they've established that these two can, couple up, make it so the protag can actually canonically couple up with someone in the next game. Instead of it just being a bunch of Yuri baiting. Make it that you can canonically date someone in the 3rd game. And make it that there's actual, unique little scenes tied to it if you do. And certain events or moments that can happen slightly differently if you do. But I digress. Keep Uta for my sake, and then keep the opening 4 and obviously Hina. But the rest, like I said, everyone including Uta could technically be dropped because they're tied to the anime. I just really don't want them to be. If I could have everyone here, I would, but I know that'd be quite a lot of work to start with 12 characters and then add even more on for any kind of writer, Especially if it's someone just starting with the 3rd game. That's a lot to throw on your plate. Yuzu and Lime, I think, need to be there because I don't think they're going to be saved in this game either. Properly. I think they'll be remembered, but I don't think they'll be saved. I don't think they'll ever be saved. At least not in this game, because they weren't in the first one. I think they should bring back some more of the old reflectors from the first game and make them the extra playable characters whilst bringing the game's cast. Yeah, I'd love it if some of the side characters in the first game became canonical reflectors. Because they were just support units, they didn't have reflector powers. They had the reflector ring, so technically were, but they couldn't transform. They were basically like Yuki, Kirara, Mio, and Uta in this game. Oh, and Yuzu and Lime. And it's make a couple of them. As much as I'd love to see Akko, I can imagine they won't, because Akko and Yuki would be a little too similar. Because Yuki, I feel like they used Akko as the baseline when designing Yuki's character, and then just, made her more integral to the plot, because Akko is just a loud goofball, whilst Yuki is a loud goofball with a lot of deep-rooted emotional issues. If Mao met Uta? Yeah, that would be crazy. I don't even know if they'd even get along because of how much Uta has changed throughout the course of this game. Because Uta, Mao still didn't like Hina by the end of it. She just respected her. Hi, sorry to interrupt your piano session. Anyway, I can atone for my sins to tie myself to the world. Why are you taking some time to load? Is it because I had to get you off the piano? You have to care for a walk outside. I don't have anything in mind, but... Okay, sometimes it's nice to wander around without a destination. Thank you very much. Shall we? I'm glad we at least got to get to rank 6. I know we're at rank 9, but at least get to rank 6 with Uta. Because if there's any girl in this group I'd want to hold hands with. I'm thirsty. I think I'll grab something. Do you want something, Uta? Which one of these drinks do you like? Which do I like? None of them. There are some that I don't like, though. Oh, really? I thought you'd like this one for sure. Why is that? I've seen you drinking it a lot. Then, this one. Oh, I was making an assumption. I'm sure it changes depending on your mood. No, I like this one now. Oh, Uta. She's like, you say I should like it, I like it. She's letting herself be a little too endeared by owlness. Before we go to the final dungeon, though, I am going to essentially go to the storage and plant down every single thing we've built, just to see if there's any other secret little dates we've missed. Like, literally just like scroll through everything, planting them down at random to see what we get. Oh. What's wrong, Uta? I just thought that you smell very nice, Al. Maybe it's my shampoo? your shampoo, but we always use the same shampoo. Why do you smell different? You're sharp. I guess it can't be because of the shampoo. It's coming from these freshly baked, madeleines. I had to think what that word was for a second. Oh, it really was a dessert. The buttery smell certainly makes more sense now. I bumped into Shio earlier and she snuck me some. I happen to have two, so let's eat them together. Here. Thank you. Oh, they smell delicious. Uta, you're smiling. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. I get all smiley when I smell delicious treats too. Are you sure this is okay? Shio didn't give these to me. Perfectly fine, I promise. Besides, I just want to see you smile more. Is my smile so strange? Or do you miss like 30 more dates or something? That's what I'm fearing. It's rather than strange, it's affecting. It makes me seem like you're really enjoying your Madeline. Affecting? I don't really know what you mean, but it sounds like you enjoy it. In that case, I'll observe you while you eat as well. Oh, fuck! Oh, yes, whilst you eat, I will watch you. Observe? Okay. You're free to admire me get my chomp on as much as you like. Happy together. Oh, come on, she's so glad. If she has another date, we can get her to rank 10. We're gonna get her to rank 10, boys. Is there anywhere you want to go? Could we go to the piano? I'd like to hear how it sounds. Sure, let's go. So I think 10 is going to be the max. I just want to see how many we can get to 10 on one playthrough. If we can. Because I read something that is possible, it's just nigh on impossible kind of thing. Like, you can do it, it's just to be hyper-specific on every single choice you make all the way through to get it. It's sort of like how you can max out every single social link on your first playthrough of a Persona game. Even on like something like a completely fresh run. But it has to be the most hyper-specific thing in the universe. Like, exactly when you study, exactly when you date, exactly when you meet someone, exactly when you dungeon crawl. Like, it has to be hyper-fucking-precise. And then you can just barely do it on your first playthrough. I don't think I've ever seen the grand piano up close. Sure is incredible, huh? I believe I remember my school having one. It's simply a large piano, is it not? Well, sure it's big, but that's not all. I don't know, there's something intimidating about them, you know? Intimidating? It's just this aura of I shall not be played by mere amateurs. When you say intimidating, you mean you're afraid of this piano? Not exactly, but something about it is imposing. No matter how imposing, a piano is a piano. It's just a tool. Oh, what a beautiful tone. Ow. Don't stare at her ass. Beautiful. Yes, you're right. But quite nice as well. The optional conversation on trying to get you more talent points? I don't think they do. I think they're just flavor text. Because I think the game even says you can just go straight to your destination at the start and not miss anything. It's just if you want to get a little more like minor conversations with characters. It's more focused on, if you want to max out everyone, you have to be hyper specific on making sure you find every single recipe. But it's also things like, some parts of Heartscapes only open up when some characters reach select talent levels, which I know that's a lot of some says and selects, but it's true. Some of those recipes will be things that you can make that also leads to more dates. So you need to also know who to like prioritize first to unlock more shit to get everyone else. So it becomes hyper specific. You need to know who to prioritize, you need to know who to like vouch for in like the group events. You need to know when to like beeline for a dungeon to get something else. Like, to get everyone to max 10 in one to max level in one run, it has to be idiotically precise, which is why I'm kind of glad that I didn't know about that till this late, and we can just do it in NG+, so it'll be far easier, because talent level partially carries over. Yeah, pianos just have such a great tone to them. Yes, I agree. That's why I was wanting to learn how to play well. Can you play? Of course not. I actually tried to learn. How about you? I wonder. I don't have any memories of doing so. Too bad. If either of us played, we could have had a recital. Why don't we try playing a bit, Uta? Who knows? You may actually be able to. Me? Okay, I'll try. Uta? You didn't tell me you could actually play piano! What? You're doing it! That's amazing! My fingers just started moving on their own. I remember now. I used to play the organ once. I've forgotten, but it seems as though my body still remembers. There's a recital, everyone will love it. I can't help but feel a little scared. And then the music continues when she takes her hand off it. It's like now it transitions and it's just a background theme. Not very good. What if no one likes the piece I choose? Uta. Then how about just playing it for me then? I really like what I've heard so far. A private recital for Ao Hoshizaki. I wouldn't mind that. Of course she wouldn't. Ao's smitten again. I hope you enjoy yourself. This is another song I know. Trophy unlocked, ready to face myself. Max out Uta's talent level. Uta is the first character we maxed out, and I wouldn't have it any other way. There's a shame there's no rank 8 scene, it seems like. Or at least if there is, we can't access it yet, because everyone else has a rank 8 scene, but she doesn't seem to have one. I'm just trying to check in this. It's like, are we actually going back to everyone's dungeons? Is that the main plot right now? We're going to be going back to everyone's dungeons to pick up pieces. What's with that big grand piano outside? Oh, do you want to play it, Reina? Hang on. Okay, that was me over there. I was like, there was someone else over there that I didn't spot a minute ago. Actually, before we get too into that, interesting. At max level, she still just barely doesn't have enough points to get everything. Interesting. Sure. Can you play the piano, Hoshizaki? Nah, I can't. I remember learning piano in music class, but I forgot everything. Well, music class at school was only a few times a week. It's not enough time to really learn. We had to play the keys in the same order as the teacher. I rarely got past the first few. It'd probably be a lot easier if you learned how to read sheet music first. Can you play, Reina? I only know one song. Really? Can I hear it? Wow, that's amazing. You played a full piece with accompaniments and everything. Did you take lessons? No. Self-taught then? Not exactly. Huh? No, I think about it. I've heard someone humming that. I feel like I've heard someone humming that tune before. It was probably me. I practiced that song so many times, it gets stuck in my head. I might have been humming it without realizing. No, you're not really the type. Uh-oh, I know what this is. The only melody Reina knows how to play is one that Yuki's probably hummed to herself. Am I right? I would definitely remember if you were humming, Reina. I'd be shocked. What's that supposed to mean? Oh, I remember. It was Yuki. Yep. Yuki hummed a melody to herself, and Reina decided to learn how to play it. It all makes sense now. Quit acting so weird. Sorry. So, have you played it for Yuki? Not yet. You're the first person who's ever heard it, actually. Ow. 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 Oh. Out. Behave yourself. No, I'll be nice. What a shame. That's such a shame. You play so well. Really? Yeah, good enough to play a recital in front of everyone. Well, that's an exaggeration. Besides, there's no way I'd play in front of everyone. But you played for me. Alright, let's... The big rearrange commence. Right. Beach chairs. Place them over the DLC ones, because that's an easy transition. Yeah, that's a very cheeky one. The Animal Wars DLC we don't get. The cafe space, we put that away forever ago. Let's put that over the picnic space. Nope, Uta has a side quest for us. Oh, yeah, you did the stealth quest, got it. The firework cannon. I think we already put this down at another time and it didn't result in anything. We'll put it over the vending machine because that's such a weird place anyway. Put the photo studio over there. That big tree. Put it over the big storage crate. This might all be for naught. We might not have already seen all of these, but you never know. What's actually... Hang on. Oh, the small wind turbine. We haven't used... We had like one date with it. And that was it. And then we never touched it again. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Oh, the tent counts as a big object. Ugh. There's Paul. Put this there, and then let's see if there's any dates. If there isn't any at all, and that's a giant waste of time, that's okay too. It just means we can start rearranging. No new dates. Okay, we haven't missed any. Alright. Now it's just a matter of what do I want where. Because that's the other thing I'm kind of looking forward to on New Game Plus. When it gets to the dates, picking other dialogues to see what that leads to. What's the wind generator tied to? Pierce damage. Increased damage dealt. Decreases damage taken. Oh my god. A very festive festival day. Increases the amount of tradable items at stand because item drop rate. I wish you could upgrade further to put more things down, but at the same time they do give you quite a lot. And once again, I do think it's a bit of a weird thing that you don't get any in the like gymnasium or something. You get like one normal thing and one DLC thing for the swimming pool. You get one DLC thing for the docks. We never even got to get fishing. Back in like the first couple of streams, I was super excited at the idea that we might be able to do fishing at some point, and it never came to be. Right, where's Uta's side quest? And just go back to her Heartscape. Okay. Wait, does she? Where? Anyway, back. I've been thinking about a lot of things, and it's like a new person, and I'd really like to see the Heartscape scenery from my new perspective. Would you mind going there with me? I like I pumped you up. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm super excited. There's an enemy we haven't fought in the final layer. Yeah, I'm excited to see what the different day options are. I'm excited to see what the little extra scenes are. I'm excited to max people out. Oh, okay, we've unlocked that area because we're a higher rank with her. But it clearly isn't where the quest is. Oh no, because we've got to do plot first. Got it. I got it. I understand. It's prioritizing plot. Anything particular you want to see in your Heartscape? Just about the towers. They're so dazzlingly high. Oh, I know the place. Let's go take a look. So the third zone. Oh yeah, Uta said she went to look around our Heartscape, didn't she? Alright, ready? Yes. There are so many demons. I hope I don't slow you down. Don't worry, I'll protect you. That's what I want to say, but I don't think we can take them all. Let's try and get by without them spotting us. Also, that enemy's just a reskin of one of the major goddamn bosses of the game. Uta. Classroom unlocks in New Game Plus. Yeah, it's so annoying that that's there. And it's like it hasn't unlocked all. Because I would have thought it would have been like 4 girls per room. But no, it's 6 girls between the 2 rooms. And it's just all the sensible ones are downstairs and all the chaotic ones... So all the sensibles are upstairs, all the chaotics are up. This is a bit evil. We got to climb up a ladder. But I don't think anything would be as evil as that one we did the other time. Okay, what would be the safest route? You need to get right to the other end regardless. Does that enemy move? Because if those two don't move, that route's off bounds. Or I think they don't move at all. I think they're off limits. They're there, so they're looking directly at the pole, so you can't avoid them. Oh, jeez. If I get away with this, how did I get away with that? I did not deserve to get away with that at all. Oh, okay, now this one's... Okay, I'm glad they put that box there, so you're not completely screwed. And then there's 2 more of the spider guys, so we have to detour that way to that box and then go that way. Okay. It feels it still comes out sound test room. Like, it's really cool. Yeah, I love that Hina had the soundtrack on her phone, and I kind of miss it in this one. But I do appreciate how they standardize it to literally just the text messages. I think that made more sense than it having been all these, because you had like the wallpaper display option, which is, you know, its own thing that I barely used. You had the sound test option. You had the Chi has hidden her little toy somewhere in the school. You can go find it, even though you can't interact with it. You can go find it, sort of thing. It's not going to count as me being spotted being here, is it? Oh, thank God. I'm just going to go for it. I can see on the minimap it's coming back. Yep, I wouldn't have made the ladder. But yeah, if they want to make it like, you go in and there's like a portrait on the wall and you click on it, you can see artwork, or there's like a jukebox in the corner and if you click on it, you can see you can listen to the soundtrack, that sort of thing. Which also makes sense for it to be an NG+, because then you've heard every track. This doesn't count as you being able to see me, right? Okay, good. They give you a lot of boxes to keep you hidden. Best not to look down, it'll just make you more scared. Let's not be too eager. Made it. This is far enough. This is the view that my heart's created. That's the idea. Some things might be a little different or exaggerated though. A tower so tall you can't see the top. When I first saw it, I had no idea what it could represent. But now I have my memory, I finally understand. It must represent my solitude. Solitude? I looked down on the people around me. I rejected them, wished that they would just leave me alone. Uta, but you're different now. Indeed, I'm not alone anymore. I have friends like you, who will put up with all of my selfish requests. Do you feel better now, Uta? Yes, I'm glad I was able to see this with you once more, Al. Thank you. Okay, yeah, let's get our last talent. Maybe I shouldn't have prioritized her entirely, but whatever. And she hasn't got any more that she's doing miraculous. Yeah, no, she's completely maxed out. Oh, yeah, I never even looked at what those new fragments were. Chance to survive, decreases chance of combo, and curse immunity. Okay, so nothing too special. Alright, so our next objective is to just go to everyone's heartscapes one by one. I imagine you can just walk to the last area, but this is the last opportunity, or the best opportunity, to see what extra spaces we've unlocked throughout them. So let's just literally, we'll be sprinting through them all, but it'll be a nice trip down memory lane anyway, and any extra areas from talent ranks that we've reached, we can see. As we listen to the most nostalgic track in this game. Like, it's genuinely kind of baffling. Like, when I first heard this, I was like, wow, like, even on the first hearing, this track felt nostalgic. And I know that's the point. Also, remember when we had to avoid those enemies? And it's like, you know, you can avoid battles, and like, after that, you never avoid them again. You never have a situation like that again, because you're a high enough level to fight whatever comes near you. There's a lot of things in the first area I wish they touched upon more often. The whole choosing to avoid an encounter because they might be too tough for you at this point doesn't really matter after this dungeon. The whole having a dedicated stealth section doesn't exist after this point. It's like, that was like the only like real letdown that I have, like with the actual like level design. It's like, I feel like they could have done more of it, like have it in each dungeon there was a dedicated stealth section. Because this whole bit here, all of this is just one giant stealth zone, which is why there's so many routes here and there. And I really enjoyed it. And I was like, wouldn't it be great if more zones had that? Where there was multiple routes, multiple ways through it and all that stuff. And it just never happened. Also, yeah, like I unlocked down here, for example, when I got to, I think it was like talent rank 4 or 5. And it led to a recipe. You know where I haven't been in forever that might have something new in it? The actual tree house. The actual secret hideout that Kokoro and Shio made when they were kids. Oh, okay. I was like, maybe there's something secret hidden away in here, but it doesn't seem to be. Something else I'd like to see in the next game, since we're at that point where I can kind of like dream. If you radically over-level an enemy, don't have them chase you. When we're coming back to clean up resources, sometimes like enemies will beeline for me, and I'm like, why are they attacking me? I'm gonna one-shot them. Make it that, like, if you radically out-level an enemy, they'll either not react to you, or instead move away. But I'd prefer if they just didn't react, so then if you want to kill them for resources, you still can. But it's like, this enemy will just beeline straight for us. It's the opening dungeon of the game. This thing's at level 6. It's not going to live. It died. It took about 3 times its life in damage. And then we're going to end up seeing this again because it was enough to twig at rank 3. But you get what I mean? Like, that's just a small quality of life thing I'd put in the next game. If you out-level an enemy, change it. Kokoro's dungeon always had 2 ways to the objective, and one was for combat while the other was crawling on the houses and roofs and avoiding enemies. But that design stopped after. Yeah. And like, you could argue that it's also tied to Kokoro's character, where she was unsure of what to do, and it was symbolic of the fact that she didn't like confrontation, but she knew she had to do it eventually. Like, that was a big thing with her story. It was like that Shio always tried to encourage her to find her own identity, but she never did. And so it was always she hid away from trouble, so that option was there, whilst having a more combative thing to show who she is now always being there also made sense. I just wish there was more of that in later dungeons. I mean, you get things kind of like that, like Hina's second area has that giant bit where it loops around back instead, and it's only there for secrets, but it's like a big break off the main path, and I really enjoyed it for that. Is this going to be a boss gauntlet? Is that what these Get the Last Fragments are then? It's going to be a boss gauntlet? Also, are we going to get to, like, you know, canonically fight Kyurem instead of the little thing we fought on the DLC island? Which also, that's something else. In NG+, I do want to, when we get to that part in Chapter 10 again, I will go through the entirety of it and try and do all 45 floors, or all 45 challenges. Because apparently there is actually a little, like, reward scene if you can make it to the very, very end of it all. And I thought I could do that in this playthrough, but at the same time, there are people that are, like me, also interested in seeing where the story is going, and grinding out for a whole stream just to see one little scene isn't something that I can justify for a main run. In New Game Plus, however, it would be a lot easier to justify. And that's how I'm going to handle it. It'd be a lot easier to just go, well, we're doing optional extra stuff anyway, why not just go do it? So I'll do the full 45 fights. I might regret it, and it might get super hard by the end, but I'll try it and see if I can do it. And yeah, to get back to that comment, yeah, it is like the shadows in Persona and how they run away. Realised they said the demons have made up their repressed emotions to the Heartscape ruler, and had no demons in her, maybe proving she doesn't exist as well. Yeah, but yeah. That kind of feeds into the theory a lot. Yeah, I think Al doesn't actually exist. And she's gonna be, like, in the true ending, potentially, she's gonna be made to exist again because someone will remember her, whoever you pick. Just because of that one scene, so that didn't add talent points, weirdly enough. It just struck me as weird. Alright, Coco, take this bit. Oh shit, I just realised this means we're going to go back to Yuki's. Yeah, and because we're going to be seeing it a whole bunch, no unique dialogue, unfortunately. They just kind of smile at each other and take it. Yeah, but this bit absolutely is like the filler piece to make the game just a little bit longer, which is fine. Wait, what's this dialogue like? Let's have a taste. Ah, Hiyori, that's... What is this? It's so sour. And you know what? When I eventually do completely finish this game, you know, twice, and leave, you know what theme I'm going to miss the most? It's coming back to the school and hearing this every time. Like, you know, just the school theme, I've got so comfortable with it and hearing it every single time we come here, I'm gonna miss it. Alright, did that final area in the back right corner finally unlock? No, it didn't. Because we're actually at rank 7. Damn. Okay, so that little bit will end up becoming a New Game Plus then, unless, you know, Shio magically decides she wants to go on a date with us later on. Oh, fuck it, I'll sprint through. It's a nice trip down memory lane. So yeah, that one we need to get closer. And I think there's a recipe of some kind in there, whether for an item or a construction. It's something. So we're seeing all the newer characters in Kokoro's Heartscape. Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of... It is, but at the same time, it isn't. Like, it is because, you know, when we first went through there, we didn't. But it isn't because I've got so accustomed to this found family, to this cast. I think this game soundtrack's on Spotify. I don't use Spotify, but I hope so for people who do. I do the totally legal YouTube to MP3 if I want to put songs on my phone. Totally legal, wink, 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 wink. Definitely not breaking the law and, like, you know, just... Oh, if I'm going to support a soundtrack, which I probably will, I will hunt down an actual CD. I won't get it on Spotify. I'll hunt down an actual and buy a full CD. Like, I have Final Fantasy VII Remake soundtrack on CD. I have Devil May Cry 5 soundtrack on CD. I have Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, the original Hitman 2 Silent Assassin soundtrack on CD. I love original Hitman 2 soundtrack. It's so fucking foreboding and powerful. It's amazing. I have both Death End Request games OSTs on soundtrack. I'm glancing over to my side, just why I'm not paying attention completely. I have Dragon Star. I have... What's that one? The Japanese one. I think that's Nocturnes. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturnes. I have both Bravely Default and Bravely Second. I have Merry Skelters. But I'll get them on CD. I legally do that too to get the songs in my videos. Wink, wink. Yep. Yeah, you get it. Oh, well, hang on. That's what the Quick Killer's for? All game, I've been saying, what the fuck's the Quick Killer for? Okay, so we can open this bit. I'm glad I checked then. I was about to just leave. All game I've been saying the Quick Killer's worthless. Why do we make it? There's no use for it. There's its one lone use, potentially. His enemy's in the way regardless. But yeah, like, I've said it before, but Reina's dungeon theme, or Hopeful Astra, I've got that on my phone now. Because I just love it. It's such a beautiful track, and I was like, no, I need this on my phone. And I probably want to get... Sometimes I put music from a game on my phone as well, solely to make sure I never forget it. But I always remember and appreciate how much it means to me, sort of thing. which I know sounds like a little bit much for, you know, a track, but it makes sense to me. It's to make sure it always has a place in my heart, always means something, and I always remember it's there. And it's part of the reason why I put a Blue Reflection track on, but I want to put more on. I want to put one of the battle themes on. Fucking Pepper Spray. Shio. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that Yuki's dungeon theme makes me sad because I know what it means, especially with like, the heart pumping machine, I'd probably have hers on it. And like Uta's I'm debating putting on my phone, but Uta is similar, like there's so much tragedy in the track that you can hear and mixed with everything else. It's a beautiful track, but you also know what some of it means, like beyond the first impression. I think I'll be jamming. I think it'll be jarring at first in New Game Plus, going back to just Kokoro, Reina, and Yuki. I'll keep looking around for best Pearl or Scruffbot at first. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, like, the biggest wake-up call for me is that every single character feels like they belong. And there are a lot of games that also have big casts of characters that don't always do that. Or, like, struggle to find that. Like, in my personal opinion, and I know not everyone agrees with this, I felt that Ken didn't work in Persona 3. And I felt like he was always just the outlier of the cast. Like, he didn't really... Like, he had a good story and he had a good character arc, but he always kind of weirdly felt out of place compared to everyone else, and it never really found... He never really felt like he was as linked to that found family as everyone else. And that stuck out. Whilst in this, every character feels like they belong so much that it will be extremely jarring to be without them. I can't imagine a time without Housewife Shio. I can't imagine not having the super high spirit Hiyori, or, you know, the more down-to-earth Mio. You know what's going to be real hard? Going back to Reina and Yuki not remembering they love each other in New Game Plus. That will be hard. But at the same time, they'll also be kind of spicy, because it'll be nice to look at it and be like, how many little hints that they did care about each other can we see? How many little things that show can we notice now we have context? And yeah, obviously Scruffpot. I don't know why that nickname ended up sticking. It was just like, at first I kept on forgetting her name, and because she was a bedhead, and in IRL, in real life, I tend to throw those nicknames at people like that. There are a lot of people who have little nicknames that have just stuck. I am that one friend of the group that tends to give everyone nicknames and just remember them by that. Not as severely as some, but there was a friend that I always called Scruffy, and it wasn't because they were actually scruffy, it's because their hair was a mess. Well, they weren't dirty, sort of thing, not in that sense, but I always called them Scruff or Scruffy. And they knew it was just a little endearment that I had for them. And it also shows how much I care about this cast, that some of them I have just slapped nicknames on them. I mean, the other giveaway, also we still can't access that, so that is absolutely a talent level thing, then. Shinjiro is way better than Ken, but I think Ken was just to replace him, and I love how that game will probably end with you fighting God, but New Game Plus will start with a leaky roof conundrum. Yeah, but it's like any RPG, that's not new. It's like any RPG. It's like, your first quest is get the egg, your last quest is defeat God. And I'll just, instead of going back to Desert Station, well, that's something I missed as well. Shio's, the final layer was linked to the first again. You had to go backtrack out of the second back to the final. Komaru's a good boy though, yeah. I like Ken more in P4AU because he's a bit more grown up and he has a bit more of like a self-made identity. Like, he does his own thing. Even if he doesn't have, you know, much to do in P4AU, he felt like he had more of his own, like, identity other than just being, you know, Ken compared to P3. Yeah, excuse me, enemies, I radically overlevel. That serves no purpose because I'm the level cap. Which is another thing I want in the next game. Bump up the level cap. Level 50 made sense in the first game because your level was entirely tied to quests. You didn't get experience from fights. So having a natural point it would reach where it would cap out, yeah, having 50, it fitted well and it worked. In this game, however, with having a traditional experience system, we hit 50 a while ago. And I know like they don't expect you to be this much over leveled, whatnot, but at the same time they've got to be better at appreciating or working out that players are going to want to do everything, and so by nature are going to start to become slightly higher level than expected. And they didn't really accommodate for that, so we hit level 50 a while ago. I mentioned Jerome P for AU or Makoto could... I think it could happen, if I'm honest. I think if they made another Persona Arena game, Atlus aren't as strict on the whole everything has to be canon as they used to be. I think they might be prepared to let it be not canon, and then allow them to be playable as well. Okay, so this is another... Okay, enemies time. That's another social link talent level thing. We can't access that. I suppose that's something to look forward to in NG+. That at some point in NG+, like, we'll actually be able to access the rest of Shiho's dungeon. $72 experience points, that's so fucking worthless. Even if we weren't the level cap. When you keep in mind, the final boss of the Riser DLC drops you 25k in experience. Yeah, that's quite the contrast. Alright, can we access you at all? Or are you also just a fuck off, you're not close enough to Shio? Yeah, we're not close enough to Shio. Which is a shame, because it's quite a bit up there, by the looks of it. Yeah, you get stuck on that. Having a better sister giving me good times. Yeah, I've seen a few people comment on that, and I didn't feel it, but I didn't like reject it as much as some people felt with it. Like, I didn't have as much of a negative feel. A lot of people have commented that like the opening of this game is surprisingly tough, and then it gets easier the more comfortable you get with your skills and whatnot. And although I definitely agree, I generally didn't find it too bad all in all. It was just I had a habit in the earlier dungeons of every time we cleared a zone leaving to restock on supplies, because I felt like I needed to, whilst as we got into the later half of the game that stopped happening because I didn't need to. You know, like we was doing like the full dungeon in one go almost in some instances, because we didn't need the extra resources anymore, because we weren't needing to heal because of the, you know, like abilities like the auto regen or the E for recovery speed boost, so we could just keep on top of ourselves just fine. Okay, so this is just a gauntlet of the old bosses. It's an old boss rush. Sorry about that, that was my knuckle you might have just heard on the mic. Ooh, ready? You just started. I do think it's kind of crazy though. If this game is 11 chapters big instead of 12, 7? Technically 8 chapters if you want to count Yuki. 7 or 8 chapters of the 11 chapter run is dedicated to character introduction arcs. Which is kind of insane when you think about it. And like, the first game was kind of like that too, where all the way to like chapter 8 or 9 it was still introducing new characters and having character arcs. But that is kind of crazy that the actual main plot of the game doesn't really kick in till like chapter 8. Like that's kind of a big ask for people who aren't that into the character or just into the story. RPG sense kicked in early on. I fought every enemy I passed, so I pushed through early on. Yeah, that's what I did in the earlier streams. There was a point in time back when I played, you know, back when I was a kid, where I skipped encounters in base Persona 4, and it resulted in the bosses becoming near impossible. And then as I got older and got more sense, I eventually then understood better that I should be going for everything. And to be fair, Persona 4 and Persona 5 are both extremely manageable if you fight everything on the route. You'll always be like an appropriate level to take on any challenge. The only real fight that becomes difficult is Shido at the end of the Pride ship. That's the only dungeon that, like, the only, like, boss in base. So I haven't played Royal to see if they've changed it, but in base P5, that actually caught a lot of people off guard. He was surprisingly tough. I can do this all day. Gotcha. But in saying that, when I eventually cover Atelier Ryza, there will be points where I'll be forcing myself to skip encounters, because the open-ended nature of that game, where it's a lot more non-linear in a lot of ways, results in me end up fighting the same enemy a lot of times, so I'm going back and forth down a part of the woods that maybe has a resource I'm after. In Pokemon, I skip every trainer I could and only use my starter. Yeah, I think that's I think every kid does that, because you don't want to put in the extra work. And it's like, well, this one number keeps going up, so I'll keep doing it. Whilst nowadays I'm better with it. And to be fair, Gen 6 onwards, as much as, you know, I wish they gave you more freedom of creativity and options, they've made it far more approachable for kids with the whole XP all thing. I kind of wish it was an option. After playing Pokemon Unbound, I really started to appreciate the idea of options. Because Unbound not only has the option to make it so it's only one experience or all experience, but it also gives you the option to cap it. So your experience, your level will not go any higher than the strongest Pokemon in the next gym. So I used to put it on XP cap as I went through it. So all my Pokemon were always an appropriate level for it to be a fair challenge, but all of them were, you know, around the right level. I didn't get over-leveled at all. What am I doing? I need to just crack on. I keep on going to run in, expecting there to be new dates. It's like, I don't think there's gonna be. I should check if there's like a rando like scene on the roof, just if I'm lucky or something. Which there is not. Oh, and I guess because I have to prepare for the final battle and whatnot, Reina and Yuki aren't up here anymore. Aw. Oh well. Alright, Hina, we're gonna run through yours now. Nothing unique here at all, so I'll just skip through. So as much as I want to do the memory lane thing, at the same time, I've got to be aware that I can't just waste time. But Hina's is a good example of what I was talking about earlier about the alternate route, because you go up through here, but there's a lot of breaking paths. Like there's this bit here, there's like a lot more than usual over there. Then when you come over here, plots up, but it splits down and it completely circles around to this optional extra area over here. Like it wasn't completely linear. Like there was a reason to break off, sort of thing. Streamline the experience. That's why they streamlined the experience share. I did a playthrough of Pokemon X without experience share and Lucario or Kanto start and just use random Pokemon and it was very easy. Never game overed. Yeah, but Gen 6 is I have a very negative bias on Gen 6. I think Gen 6 is god-awful, in my opinion. It's okay if you enjoy it for what it is, but I genuinely have, like, this... I don't like Gen 6 at all. Gen 6 kind of killed a lot of my interest with Pokemon. And it's why I was kind of like... I kind of hesitated with Gen 7. Although I've heard good things about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I just... Okay, we haven't unlocked Hina's extra routes then. But it was still like, eh. And then, like, Gen 8, like I said, I just didn't really click with and get that far in. But yeah, Cynthia was the infamous... Like, there's a reason why people love her so much. It wasn't just that she was well written, is that she was a great final battle. She was a great bookender of the game. With her, in Diamond and Pearl, her level 66 Garchomp that would ripe your party. And then they lowered it to like 62, I think it was, in Platinum, which I thought was kind of weird considering you had more trainer battles in Platinum. So you were a slightly higher level anyway. But I also get that Diamond and Pearl were kind of infamous for how insane she was back in the day. Like, you could go in with an over-leveled party and she could still wipe the floor with you if you weren't careful. The thing is, I didn't like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire that much either. I enjoyed it enough to finish them, and enjoyed them enough to even come back and finish them again later on. But I still felt that Emerald was better. I feel like with me personally, I said this is entirely just my take. You don't have to take it as fact, and it's not me taking away from yours if you do like them. I feel like the remakes are the biggest show and tell of the decline in quality in Pokemon games. At least for a while. I'm excited for Gen 9 because I like the different approach it's taking, and I think it's a necessary different approach. But the Gen 1 remakes included every piece of Yellow's content and a bunch of scrapped content on top of it, making it the true definitive experience of the game. Soul Silver and Heart Gold also did that, but also just added on a few extra things here and there to clean things up. But it wasn't as like extra on top of the end as it was in the first one. You didn't go to like the Sevi Islands, for example. You just had extra content, but it still included everything of Crystal. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire carried over none of Emerald's content whatsoever, and instead replaced it with a fetch quest that takes 20 minutes of you flying around talking to people, and then you're just pretty much given Rayquaza. I mean, yeah, you get Deoxys as well, but you know what I mean? It felt like a huge downgrade. There was no Battle Frontier, there was no carryover of some of the Emerald's extra quirks, there was no alternate layout of the gyms, it was all gone. The Diamond Pearl remake is just straight up Diamond and Pearl in new hardware with none of the quality of life whatsoever. Like, each remake has had less effort put into it than the last. Which was extra disappointing for me because Gen 4 is my favourite generation. Pokemon Platinum is my favourite Pokemon game. So to see that, you know, Platinum's quality of life changes and, you know, making it so there was more than just 2 fire types and one of them's the starter was such an appreciated quality of life change and an appreciated thing that didn't carry over into the remake at all, and the remake felt so worthless as a result. More so because Legends Arceus came out so soon after and was, you know, good. Cynthia's great because she actually uses competitive movesets and her team is great. In Omega Ruby, I remade Cynthia's team with Omega Garchomp and even more comparative changes and swept online. Yeah, I mean, I get it. But she had a great team. I mean, heck, they even changed it slightly in Platinum. Was it a Togekiss she replaced, or was it a Roserade she replaced? I can't remember which one it was. But she replaced one of them. Was it actually, it was a Gastrodon, wasn't it, that she replaced? Alright, hello, Kyra. But yeah, it was a really solid team. You know what also was a really solid team? I forget his name, but the actual champion of Gen 5 Part 1. You know, when you can't actually fight him on the first run. The dude has a god tier theme that barely anyone heard back in the day because no one could be bothered to go through the Elite Four, the harder version of the Elite Four again, just to actually fight the champion after the end fight. He was a good champion. He was a fun fight as well to get through, especially because he was like level like 70 or 80 his team by that point. So you had to really work to go for it. Alder, yes. Well, I thought he was good, but you had to just work so hard to get to him. And it's a shame because anytime I go back through Black and White 1, I usually don't bother either. Like, I did it a couple times when I was a kid, but like nowadays it's just like, I'll go through the main game, do the post game, maybe fight Cynthia because you can kind of deal with her a little bit, mess around the underwater, and then I'm still like 20 levels below the Elite Four, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'll just fight, Volcarona is great. Yeah, it's all good. As much as I enjoyed the Iris fight in Black and White 2, it wasn't quite as good as Alder. And I did like that you could go find, was it Alder's son or something in BW2 and fight him instead. And he basically had the same team, but it was like an even higher level. Like, it was actually an insanely difficult fight. But in Black and White 2 was also just front-loaded with content up the wazoo. Like the World Tournament Center, the whole of the first game's post-game, plus a new chunk as well. You know, the Cynthia fight in the house that you could just stumble into again. All the underwater stuff. Yeah, I liked Iris' fight. I didn't think she was as good as Alder, but I really enjoyed her fight. I felt like she was the last champion I really gave a shit about. Like with everything else with X and Y, I didn't care for Diantha at all. And what didn't help is that she's, you know, like a piss-easy champion. And her having like, hey, I've got a fancy like fairy Gardevoir at the end. It's like, yeah, cool, yeah, nice that you have a fairy type. But this game has shoved fairy types. It was a hot new mess at the time in my face so much that I know exactly how to deal with fairy types. So it's pointless. I already have things for it. I wish you could go. I know, like, you know, there's a good reason why not, but I wish they kind of would let you go to into the old school here. Because it's literally the old school, and they could just reuse assets from this game's school and then just make it a third floor. Just for the sake of old time's sake, maybe the camera angle changes to reflect it as well. But Diantha I didn't care for. I liked the twist that the professor was your challenger and you were the champion in Gen 7. But at the same time, it didn't make the champion interesting. It just kind of was like, oh, okay, moving on. And I know in Ultra Sun you just fight your rival instead of it, which I think is like less interesting than fighting the professor. Especially because I didn't like Hal. I found Hal more annoying than fun. I like how you're champion Sun Moon. The theme is the OG Pokemon theme at first. Yeah, I said I did like that. It was just it doesn't make it the most memorable in reflection. But sorry, just to interrupt and change subject again. You know how my brain works. This is the track I have on my phone. Like the full version of this, I have it on my phone. I love it. And then like in Gen 8, was it Champion Leon? I didn't even remotely care. I saw him once, I was like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. And just zoned out. I want a champion that's different again, I think it's the big thing for me. Because a lot of them have been like... The only time we've had a champion that's had like an attitude to them is when it was the first game of your rival. Each one afterwards have been confident but encouraging. They've been like, I will throw you everything I'm capable of. But at the same time, like, I want you to give me a good fight. That kind of spirit. I want a champion that almost looks down on us. And we have to like, and it's like, it feels like more personal to try and rise to the challenge and get there. Yeah, I'm aware of like if you rematch, you get different challenges in Sun and Moon. I just didn't, I just was kind of done enough. If that makes sense. Like, when I got to that point, I was done enough. Like, I enjoyed Gen 7 enough. It wasn't... I say that. I enjoyed Gen 7, and anytime like, when I went through it, I told everyone that I liked Gen 7. However, I have never touched it since, and I think that speaks volumes. You know, the first 5 generations, even clunky old fucking Pokemon Red, I sometimes go back to. Not often, because Pokemon Red's janky as fuck. With how it registers a lot of things and how it works, like it's a goddamn mess, but I still entertain going back to it every now and then. Gen 6, I haven't touched since 2013, and I don't want to, because like I said, I genuinely don't like that game. And Gen 7, I said I liked it, but at the same time I've had no motivation to ever go back since, and I think that speaks for itself. When even nowadays there are points where I'll be like, man, I'm in the mood to play Platinum, or I'm in the mood to play White 2, because that's the version I got. I'm still checking if there's any secrets I missed. But yeah, in Gen 8, you fight Champion Leon. And, like, yes, I don't know. Like, he doesn't have much going for him. They try and pull a Gen 5 for making it that the champion's not actually the final boss. But the final boss isn't interesting because the main villain of Gen 8 isn't interesting. Like, at all. And which is the other thing that I think is a real shame. That, Lusamine was kind of an interesting villain. And then they neutered her in the anime, neutered her further in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, as in like they changed her writing to make it less dark and less cynical, and then never bothered again. And it's like, come on. My favourite villains are the ones that are actually threatening, and the villain in Gen 8 isn't threatening because he's so generic and boring. He has a cool boss theme, don't get me wrong. I never thought there would be a day where Latin vocals show up in a Pokemon theme, but he has a cool boss theme, and I'll leave it at that. Getting into a fight and hearing you're like, what the fuck? This is Pokemon, calm it down. But I also thought it was a missed opportunity that you didn't actually, you know, fight Lusamine directly in Gen 7. When she fuses with the Ultra Beast and becomes an abomination, I thought you was going to fight that abomination, and you don't. She instead just summons a team, and the team have stat boosts to represent that they're, like, influenced by the Ultra Beast or some shit. And I thought it would have just been cool if you fought the Beast. And they tried to make up for it, making you have a non-Pokemon boss fight in Gen 8. You fight this big mechanical monster thing that isn't a Pokemon, but it wasn't much, because it was a Dynamax fight. So you just use the Dynamax gimmick that the game has, which is what it is, it's just a gimmick, make your Pokemon super big, hit it a couple times and move on. It just became a bit more of like a showcase than an actual, you know, unique one-off boss fight. It feels like the only time they did a unique one-off boss fight with something that wasn't really a Pokemon was when you fought the Black Kyurem or White Kyurem in Black and White 2. Because they weren't a complete form, you couldn't catch them, you just had to fight the thing as a boss fight. Dun, 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 dun. Because I walk to the work I do, my actual job, because I walk to work, and it takes me about 25 minutes, I've been humming this track a bit. I've got it on my playlist randomized so it'll pop up, but I've only got like 100 tracks on my phone, so it comes up eventually. And every time it does, I've just been humming it along. But I want a champion that you really want to like get against in Gen 9. I don't want it to just be another like optimistic, I will give you a good fight, but I believe you can give me the best kind of attitude again. I don't want that again. I want someone that makes me go, this bastard. Either that, or have the champion be more prominent to the story. If you are going to do that. Make it that they're like, you meet them in almost every gym. Oh, we never got access to these with Reina? Oh, so that's something else for NG+. I do that a lot too. Gen 1 had the best motive to win, Gen 2 had the most epic feeling battle. Both Gen 3's champion are average to me, Gen 4's the toughest battle, 5 champions both were 6 was awful. Yeah, similar sort of feeling. I preferred Steven Stone over Wallace as the champion though for Gen 3, I'll be honest. I think Steven's a far harder champion and a far more interesting champion because, you know, steel types have been kind of, at least by that point, were kind of underrepresented. So having a champion that had like this dedicated steel type monster that you were so used to just flatlining with fire types and suddenly, you know, it destroys you, that Metacross was evil. It made you rethink the type a lot at the time. It made you reconsider how you handle it. Whilst Wallace was just like, hey, do you like... I'm an ice type trainer, but most of my Pokemon are ice water, so if you brought a fire type, whoops, you're going to get Whale Lorded. Which felt redundant because you already had a member of the Elite Four kind of fill in that role. I'm also still bugged at the Elite Four and Gen 6. Yeah, because they want Gen 6 to be, like, super easy. It was a deliberate choice to try and make it more appealing. They thought, if they make it super easy, more people would find it more comforting to pick it up. But then, you know, Breath of the Wild then came out a few years later, and it became, like, the best-selling Zelda game, despite being pretty tough. So that argument was blown out of the water. And they were heavily criticised after Gen 6 of all the Pokemon games being way too easy. Which is why in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, they have a unique boss fight, a mandatory unique boss fight, that has a skill that does, like, that they can use for free, that has, like, 100 power on it, and 100 accuracy. And it's like, and the enemy's, like, 20 levels higher than you. It's like a level 70 monster you can't catch. Still talks my favourite, my boy Skarmory is in all my teams. Yeah, but for a lot of people, back in Gen 3, Steel type was just that weird extra type. Think of it this way, back when Gen 3 came out, it was treated, Steel type was treated the same way most people still kind of treat Fairy types, as this weird extended type that didn't really need to be there. That was only there for balance. A lot of people treated it like that, because Fairy types, it still feels like it was only there to cripple Dragon types and nothing else. Which I didn't think Dragon types needed. I think there were other options to cripple and weaken Dragon types that weren't, let's just make a type that's immune to it because we said so. I liked that Dragon types were resistant to all the standard types and electricity. If you came with fire, water, grass, or electricity, you were screwed. So you had it, so it would force you to have an extra team member. You couldn't just rely on your starter. So Black and White 2 is really good challenge, and X and Y happened thereafter. Yeah. A lot changed after Gen 5 for Pokemon as a whole. A lot of the company, a lot of how they developed their games, a lot of what their priorities and focus were, radically changed after Gen 5, which is why Gen 6 afterwards feels so different even now. A lot of the design philosophy and a lot of the patterning of it completely changed. I mean, that's when they introduced the formula of a new generation every 3 years. You know, because 2013 was Gen 6, 2016 was Gen 7, 2019 was Gen 8, and now in 2022 we're getting Gen 9. to how Dark was made to destroy Psychic and Ghost in Gen 2. Yeah, but people have appreciated and come around to it with Steel and Dark to accept it's just, you know, another like type that's part of the collective. But Steel type took a lot longer for people to come around to compared to the other. Whilst nowadays people are fine with it, but when Fairy type was introduced in Gen 6, how people responded to that initially reminded me a hell of a lot to the response to Steel type pre-Gen 3, when people came around to it a bit more, because there were more Steel options in that game. So before we go, I will double check these areas that I can't unlock them in any sense of the word. And I'm curious if they'll ever introduce yet another type of Pokemon, or whether they think that, you know, the amount they've got, the 18 I think there is now, is enough. Because I remember back in Gen 5, there was, okay, no, that is a talent level thing. There was Stray Code back when Gen 5 came out of a Light type. And Reshiram was originally going to be a Light type instead of a Dark, instead of a Fire Dragon. But it got scrapped, and a lot of people think Light type eventually got repurposed into Fairy, because we don't know what Light type would have been like strong or weak against, or what it would have been able to handle, yada yada. It was just like Stray Code that people found after it came out. Okay, this area is huge, so I'm not going to run through it if I don't need to. Sorry, Kirara, I know you're kind of getting the short end of the stick. I know I ran through the whole of Reina, but you got to understand, Kirara, I love Reina's dungeon. It's like my favourite dungeon in the game. Okay, there's something there, so let's go. I feel like I'm kind of doing Kirara dirty here, but still. I think Steel was nerfed in Gen 6. It used to resist Dark, and now it doesn't. It's neutral. Probably because Steel destroyed Fairy. If it's, I don't remember that bit. I don't remember the types changing it, but I believe it. If they nerf Steel like that. It also makes me wonder if they'll ever rebalance some other types. Because I still think Fairy is a little ridiculous. Like, the things it's weak to, a lot of people say, oh, but it's got so many weaknesses. It's like, yeah, it's got so many weaknesses to uncommon types. As in types you're not likely to use, because who the fuck uses dedicated poison types unless you're going for Trapinch? Or the or just the Skorupi line in general, you know? It doesn't really happen. Like, and it's the same with all of its type weaknesses. Like, all of the things Fairy's weak against is Pokemon you're not going to use because they're in general not a really preferable or meta type. And I get that's why they did it, to try and make those other Pokemon have more significance, but it didn't work. Because their problem wasn't the type, it was usually their stats with the type. Like, it's the reason why bug types almost never show up in late game. It's not because the type itself is bad, it's because their stats are god-awful. Because they reach max evolution at like level 10 and they never get any better. Ice is a huge overhaul, it only resists itself and is weak to common types. Yeah. Which is a shame because some of my favourite Pokemon, or at least the ones I like more, are ice types. And it's like, and I can never really fit them into anywhere because I know they're just going to get wrecked. Like, I genuinely like the fucking ice cream cone in Gen 5. I always had that Vanillex, or whatever it's called, Vanillex, in my team in Gen 5. But it wasn't great. It wasn't the best. Or like the Sneasel and Weavile line. I loved that Pokemon in Gen 2. As I said, Weavile wasn't until Gen 4, I don't think, but I liked Sneasel. And the thing is, I have more hope that maybe they will, because Legends Arceus, if you haven't already gathered, it was more intended to be a giant experiment than it ever was an actual Pokemon game, to see what works when they try out completely different things for Pokemon. And one of the big things that was different in Legends Arceus is that the entire stat distribution in that game was radically different to the standard Pokemon game. You'd start level 5 and your health was already at like 90 to 100, for example. Like, it was radically different how they handled it. Like the way it's distributed stats and worked everything. And it's like, we already clearly seen in that trailer that bit at least isn't carrying over into Gen 9. Gen 9's going back to more normal health. And like more normal stats. But it doesn't change the fact that other things might be radically changed. And they could very well cripple out some of those types. Or cripple the ones that are a bit too strong whilst buffing the ones that are a bit too weak. If there's ever an opportunity to do a big overhaul, this global refresh they're going with, oh god, with Gen 9 might be their best opportunity. Instead of adding more types to the problem like they did with Gen 6, rework the ones that are there. And for God's sake, bring back triple fights. I don't know, run my Mamoswine, but he always gets outsped and flattened by fighting types. Yeah, because he's quad weak to it, isn't he? Because he's part, he's ice. Is he ice grass? Or am I thinking of another type? I think he's ice grass. No, I'm thinking of Abomasnow. Abomasnow's ice grass, and it's like that's another Pokemon I wish I could use, but it's like horrendous because he's quad weak to so much because of that typing. Frostless I'd love on the team as well, but Frostlass is another one that's kind of awkward to actually fit in the team anywhere. And I only grew to like Frostlass because of the Pokemon Ranger games. When it was a boss, I thought it was a really cool boss fight. Pun not intended. In the second Rangers game, was it Shadows of Amala? I think it was called. Much as the Rangers games was like a blatant attack on your touchscreen, so how scratched up it would get in the end. I really enjoyed those games, and it made me appreciate some Pokemon a lot more because of it. I haven't gone back to them in years though, because I don't want to ruin my 3DS like the way I used to ruin my DS Lite. But the Ranger games were fun. The first one was kind of alright, but the second game, it really found its identity and was super fun. And was, surprisingly tough at points. Oh, we killed the boss. I only just realised we was at 15. We could have done another Resonance Tide. And the third one was pretty good as well, but I think the second one for me was my favourite. Oh, Ukulele Pichu. Yeah, that was in the third game, wasn't it? I just loved the pattern when you get to the end game of find a corner that's safe and then hold it in place to charge up the not Beyblade. And then once it's fully charged, you do like 2 circles, you're super proud of yourself, and then you immediately hit a fucking attack and you lose it. And you're like, God damn it! So I just spent all that time charging it up and I lost it immediately. Or like you get when you get into like the habit with your wrist and you get super quick on the spin, getting too quick and then your circle gets too thin and then you just literally hit the Pokemon. You're like, oh whoops, sorry, and you lose your link again. Did you play Conquest? No, I want to. I've been aware of it for most of my life. Like when it came out, I was aware of it and I love the art style. I'm not really into tactic RPGs though, but I want to give it a try. It's the same reason why I don't play Final Fantasy Tactics. It's the same reason why I'm not that fussed about the new Fairy Fencer game, because it changed the next Fairy Fencer game. They've confirmed it's a spin-off at least, but they've turned it from a JRPG into a tactical RPG, and it's like, I'm not really into those games that much, but I am interested in it, and I love the art style. Oh, so this is what the mop is for. We use it to clear out this debris. That's not how you use a mop. Ow. Thanks for opening that shortcut up, I guess. But back when I was a kid, I didn't get it because, I was a kid. I had pocket money to worry about. I couldn't just go get it. Oh, it's amazing. My second favourite spin-off after Red Rescue Team. You like Red Rescue Team over Explorers of Sky? Because I like Red and Blue Rescue Team. But Explorers of Time, Explorers of Darkness, and then Evolving Explorers of Sky, that's like... That's one of my all-time favorite games, and I love that game, especially Sky. The extra content that game added is phenomenal. So the puzzle doesn't reset or anything once we're here, so I'm having to double check the map. Like, okay, where have we been? Where haven't we been? Can't access all of these areas, unfortunately, still. I guess we have to be close enough to both Hiyori and Mio. Actually, I could open up the path and see if I can interact with that area now. Groval's a hero, yeah. I loved that plot of setting up and establishing a villain, riding with it, and then when it finally gets like the most cynical point, suddenly flipping it around and being like, actually, no, Groval's not the villain. Groval's a goddamn hero on a suicide mission, literally. Right. Can we... I'm going to go over there. And then at some point I need to go back and reactivate the green light. We need both green and yellow to make it across here, annoyingly. I want to see if we can access this path, and then if not, access the other one. Or whether it is just another... The path's not here. Yeah, okay, so you can't outright. Interesting. The path's just not there. You can't access it at all. That first one was had bias. To be honest, I did too. It's just I played Explorers of Time like immediately afterwards. Like I got them both, and I went all the way through the first one, and then immediately went straight into the other one. Twist in the game that truly shook me. Dustin was yanking you into the rift. Yeah, and he goes, thank you all so much. Thank you, especially you two. Come here. Oh, it's so sad I'm going to see Dusknoir. Oh, it's such a shame we won't see each other again. Unless... And he just takes you in. Explorers was, I say, both Red and the second generation of it. Both of them made me cry. The original doesn't anymore because it's a lot more standard, but the second one still gets me a little bit when I go back through it. It still makes me choke up a bit because of how much they burn through the last piece when you're quote-unquote dead. They hang on it for a long while before they finally, you know, you get your redemption and get to survive again. And it's a shame that after that I felt like the series kind of went downhill a bit. I didn't really care for Gates of Infinity, and I haven't played Super. Nor have I played the remake of the original. I've heard good things about the remake of the original, but I don't know. I think if I ever was going to play another Mystery Dungeon game, I heard pretty good things about Chocobo Mystery Dungeon, the Final Fantasy themed one. Which I think is the same company, they just, you know, hop around and do whatever they're licensed to do. But that'd be about it. So I shouldn't try and beatbox along with it. So there's something over there as well that we just can't get. Oh well. Palkia kidnapping you into his dungeon when you have no reviver seeds. Yeah, but I loved that. I loved it. I loved the adrenaline that put on you because you're like, oh god, you were so on edge for the whole dungeon, especially on your first playthrough when you don't know it's coming. You're not expecting to just get napped like that. And then Palkia has a great boss theme, and the fact also as well, you know, that their game had like the biggest post games in like most games ever. You know, like a whole second story in Explorers of Time, Space and Sky. Sorry, Explorers of Time and Darkness, and then Sky. How in those games the whole second half of the game was technically post game, and even after you did the post game, there was still more to do beyond that. You had the extra one-off dungeons to try and recruit all the legendaries, and if you got them all, it led to another extra dungeon. You had the Zero Isles to try and conquer, which I never actually did. I beat Zero North, but never the ones beyond it. I couldn't do East, West, and South at all, and nor was I interested in trying. Game. Okay, loading. I am curious how much longer the loading is in the Switch version. Darkrai was a great villain and how he was the catalyst all along. Yeah, because if you finish... That's what I liked as well with the second Mystery Dungeon. You could finish the game, reach the credits, and be at a satisfying conclusion. You can just be, oh, something went wrong when they were jumping back through time and they got lost. That's it. You don't need the extra detail. You can make it up for you, and it's satisfying. But if you carry on, the next story you learn adds extra context and becomes satisfying in its own way. So it doesn't feel like you're, you know, missing a part of the plot or not understanding something because you didn't do it, but at the same time there's more there to give you some extra if you do. So like so for both audiences, those who don't want to continue on beyond it and those who do, both leave with some satisfaction. For the nut, I need to slow it right down. I need to give it enough chance for Owl to get in at some point so I don't lose my combo. There we go. I've also accomplished getting to Jirachi in Red Rescue, 104 gauntlets of pain to get a wish from him. Yeah, and isn't it only a chance in the original Red that he'd join your team? They changed that in the remake. There's only like a chance, so if you don't get it, you have to do it all again. I remember that being a thing. And it's something I'm glad they moved away from in the later games, even if I didn't really like the later games. That they made it, if you took down a legendary or like a special Pokemon, it would be scripted that they would ask to join if you'd done the right event, instead of just, you know, a chance they join, and if not, you have to do it all again. The OGs remember the original Team Skull. I hated their theme. That one. And how like they were literally just a gang of bullies, and that was it. And then they got wrecked by Wigglytuff. Aww. That being said, I do like, it's one of the few things I did like about Sun and Moon. I enjoyed Team Skull as a nice pace breaker because the Aether Foundation were pretty good villains. And I know with Gen 8 they try and do the exact same thing. It's another thing that Gen 8 just kind of like unceremoniously steals from Gen 7. Not only does it have like an identical rival just with an ever so slight name change and skin color change, and that's it. They're literally identical with Howl to Hop. But they even have the whole two villain teams, where one of them is more comical and weird, you know, Team Skull and, you know, Marie's fan squad, and then the actual villain being, you know, the corporation and the Aether Foundation. Someone forgive me for stealing my apples. Yeah, and downplaying the work just to try and make it so you didn't get to go on the camping trip, and then you did anyway because Wigglytuff's too kind. Alright, let's quickly check out Uta's. Now, you know, we've maxed her out. Because she has 4 fields. I know it's Uta, and I know I want to run through it again, but it's 4 fields, so once again, I have to be somewhat time conscious. And there was a zone we unlocked in the 4th bit. We saw that unlocked when we went there earlier, so we can go check that out anyway. I don't think there was anything new here when we went. No. Alright, so it's just that bit in that 4th zone which we already saw unlock. Which is probably where that extra enemy is. We also never checked behind her house. Uta's house. We never did that. We just the cutscene forced us out afterwards. So where? Uh-oh. I can't remember where that secret spot is. So I'm just going to kind of like glance at everywhere we pass by. maybe fight a couple enemies in the way. I love the really tough boss in the post game where you fight the guild, complete 180 fun, really tough beast. Yeah, I got stuck on that fight for ages as a kid. Nowadays it's not too bad because I'm better at preparing myself and organizing my supplies and, you know, knowing how powerful Link skills actually are. Like when you're a kid, you don't really register just how god tier Link skills actually are, but when you start actually, you know, getting a chain out of them and making the most of them, yeah, it's kind of insane what you can do with Link skills. And just how much you can get out of them to make the game far more manageable. And the fact that it was also, you know, literally the wall to unlock the post game was beat Wigglytuff. It wasn't the final boss. It was no. You need to beat the not guild, I swear, and then you'll pass. When they just all show up and like just gang up on you. Once again, don't know why we can't just go around. I mean, look, you could see their space past the leaves, but whatever. There's a boss blocking off the... We went around. We never did fight that boss, did we? We went around because we was exploring. I completely forgot. That's probably the one enemy we missed. I completely forgot about that boss because we went around it. Play machine on the game, but I don't know what my copy is. Fair enough. I've got my 3DS in a case with all the DS and 3DS games I'd still play that I sometimes just crack out when I'm in the mood. Like I've got all 6 of the original Professor Layton games on there as well if I'm ever in the mood. Even though I usually don't go back to 4, 5, and 6, I usually go back to Lost Future, the 3rd game, or Unwound Future, depending on where you are. Because, you know, some of the Professor Layton games had slightly different titles depending on where in the world you were when you got them, because it represented a different version. Literally. Like in the UK, we got Pandora's Box, whilst in the US they got Diabolical Box, because Pandora's Box was a slightly later revision, and so it was slightly cleaner. And had more bug fixes. These enemies aren't going to let me pass easy, are they? No. But I have like Sky Platinum, White 2, the Laytons, and the original Bravely Default and Bravely Second, even though I haven't gone back to those games in forever. SMT4 and SMT4A, which is like the direct sequel for Apocalypse. Kind of saying that, if I'm honest, the last time I touched my 3DS, I think it was like a year or 2 ago at this point. It's been a long ass while since I've last like picked up my 3DS or anything. And I get it, it's natural, like it's not, you know, the hot new thing anymore, there's nothing new really coming for it, but at the same time, it's like, there are a lot of games I loved that I'm surprised I haven't felt the urge to go back to that much anymore. I just haven't really been up for it. When I was a kid, there were some games that I could play like an infinite number of times, and as I've got older, that urge towards some games just hasn't existed as much. I think this was the secret area, by the way. There are some games I still want to play again the moment I finish them, like when I went through Persona 5 and, you know, this. But for the most part, there are a lot of games that I'm not... Like, I really enjoy them and love them, and like, yeah, that's great, and then I don't pick them up again. I mean, heck, Elden Ring I went through a second time after I finished it. But that had the luxury of build... You've convinced me searching my drawer. Fair enough. It's like Elden Ring I did a second time, but that had the excuse of you could radically change your build on your second playthrough, so I did. I made a Frost Samurai with a Frost Mage Samurai. Excuse me, enemies. Damn it, so I can get that item, just so I can turn off their eyesight for a second. Because I know I don't even have to fight them, I could just try and escape from a fight, but eh. Also, when I do finish this game, I don't know when I'll do it, but at some point, I want to make a bit of an update video, like a more like direct talk update video, just talk like establishing for people who haven't really watched this what the plan's gonna be, and like what my timetable's gonna be for covering this game whilst also playing other stuff, and essentially just how I'm gonna work it all moving forward. I haven't ironed out all the details, but the general rule I'm kind of leaning on right now is every second stream be this. So it'll be like, you know, we'll do Sonic Origins on Thursday, and then it'll be Blue Reflection on Friday, and then it'll be maybe more Origins on Saturday if we haven't done anything I want to do on that yet, and then more of this on Sunday. And then I might start a Hat on Time next week, and it'll be like one stream a Hat at a time, another stream on this. So it keeps moving with this, but it's every other stream it'll be to something else. Alright, let's fight this mini boss since I didn't last time. Found Explorers of Time. Hey! I mean, it's good to try and find them because DS games are not cheap anymore. They're really not. Especially trying to find ones that haven't been modified. So that still happens. People try and hunt down like unmodified Platinum or Soul Silver. Solely so they can take it into official competitive matches. Because there's a little marker that appears on your save file if your game has been modified in any shape or form, like almost like a detector. And if that marker's there, then it's not legit, and you can't take it into official tournaments. I know that because I modified my copy of Platinum back in the day, and so I got that marker. I used to have a normal copy of Platinum, but now it's not normal; it's modified, which doesn't bother me because I'm not a competitive player anyway. Yeah, I had a feeling that enemy was just an extra add-on that could be defeated. I did a mini update video before my Royal playthrough because Royal is huge and crazy to just jump into. Yeah. Back when I did Let's Plays, every single Let's Play I did had an announcement video of it beforehand, explaining what my plan was and what I was going to do. And I haven't really been doing many update videos that much at all since then, and I think it'd be good to do, just to kind of do a quick talk and be like, this is the plan for people who haven't watched this stuff. If you haven't been interested in the RPG, sorry, but this is where it's going. But that kind of idea. So I'm really not focusing on this. There we go. So I really wasn't focusing on this mini-boss. Just kill it. So we've got a Hat in Time, we've got Castlevania Curse of the Moon, we've got Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, Sonic Origins, obviously, which will be starting the day it comes out on Thursday. Like, there's a lot of little things I want to do, so there will be stuff to spice it up alongside Blue Reflection. It's just, you know, this game's going to remain a big priority for me because of how much this game means to me. It's also, you know, the 16th session. I had to check for a second there. Yeah, we've been at this game for. And who knows how many more it'll be when we go into hard mode. Because at least to try and spice it up a little bit, it'll be NG Plus and hard mode. Just to try and, you know, give us a little bit more. It'll probably still be kind of easy at the start because of our level. But just, you know, to make it so I have to think a bit more and use my resources a bit. Also, here's time for the other kind of pointless interaction event. Because why not just climb over it? Wouldn't it be safer? How's Hat in Time? I love it. It's kind of on the shorter end of the stick, but it is a really fun, really charming, and hilariously written game. And it has 2 expansions, which is why I want to go back to it, because I haven't played either of those 2 expansions. I haven't played Nyakuza, Nyakuza, because they're all cats in it, and the Nyakuza, whatever it's called, Metro, or the Seal the Deal, which is a giant ship filled with seals. Right, before we fight you, I want to circle around, so I never check this area out. Oh, okay, I'm glad I came over and check it out. And the movement options in Hat in Time is god tier. It's really fun. Oh, look at this teddy bear. Is this one of Uta's memories too? Yes, I suppose. You got a cutesy side too, huh? I wouldn't have guessed. Not at all. My mother brought it for me of her own accord. But it's still in your heartscape. A heartscape is made from your memories, so the things here must have had some impacts on you. Only because I kept seeing them around the house. Of course, of course. But please don't make any weird assumptions. Aww. I'm surprised we didn't come here in the main dungeon crawl. I'm surprised it made us leave after this, because this feels kind of, you know, significant to an extent. Oh well. Alright, now that you've just got Yuki left. And maybe... no, I doubt it. I doubt Owls will count. Imagine it'll just be Yuki's and then we go. But I'm also aware that the console version of A Hat in Time used to be slightly behind the PC version because they replaced a couple of the collectibles and rearranged a few things in the side quests and added more dialogue on the PC version. I don't know if that's still the case because, you know, the DLC did make it to console eventually. So going back through it, there might be some things that I remember wrong, like some collectible locations that aren't where I remember them being. So that'll be a fun revisit anyway. Anything that bugs me about Mystery Dungeons, that some people are locked behind gender. Like if you want to have Eevee, you have to be female or Kira male. Yeah, that annoyed me because I always wanted Eevee on my team. Ooh, I picked the worst choice. Worst opponent. Use the stun gun. Okay, we're safe. We got its attack pushed back so much. We're more than safe. But didn't they? I don't know if they have, but I thought they changed that in the remake for Red and Blue on Switch. I think they just let you choose whoever you want now. They don't gender lock you. I don't actually know that for a fact though. I might be wrong. I remember hearing something about it. Oh, Coco. I think that's the other thing I'm looking forward to in NG+, because I've decided I'm not going to use Coco and Shio in NG+, because of how much I made them my mains in this. I want to see how they act in the 1v1s. I want to see how the other characters are. You know, how Hina handles it, how Hiyori handles it, how Reina handles it, because I think we'd already swapped out Reina before we even got our first 1v1. In the quiz, who gets RB? Mudkip. Now, I can't remember what personality affects what Pokemon. I'm just shooting a blank there. Are you the type that resets if you get a Pokemon you don't like? Like if they give you like a normal type Pokemon, you go, oh fuck this, and then just reset. Alright, Uta. Yeah, you take your memories back. Aww. Alright, one person left. I'm just going to run over in this general direction just in case we can somehow trigger a rank 8 and rank 10 scene for Uta. Because I don't think we can, which is depressing because I really wish we could. Oi. Trigger a rank 8 or rank 10 scene with me. Maybe after we do this. Alright. Let's see if there's anything new in Yuki's. Or it's Depression Hospital. Okay, doesn't seem there to be, so let's just get out of here before it ruins the mood. What about the Reina 2.0? Nope. Okay, so it's just go to the end bit where, you know, like one of my favorite cutscenes in the game happened. I know it's just going to be Ao and Yuki when we get to that little scene. Only if it's Piplup I reset anime because of anime Piplup. Yeah, fair enough. It annoyed you too, did it? I feel like everyone I know was annoyed by anime Piplup. And the whole story arc of it actively resisting evolution, that was like, what the fuck, come on. We already had that arc with Pikachu, they don't need to do it again. Alright, you've got add-ons as well. Oh, there one went already. There one went already because it's too powerful. Alright, now time to meet your doom. And afterwards we'll continue running on to see if we can access that bit in Yuki's, or if that's another talent level. That's another New Game Plus thing. Which, to be fair, I'm expecting there to be a hell of a lot at this rate of like little things we won't be able to do on this run now because of NG Plus, because we've seen so many already. Of just we'll have to come back later kind of deal. It's a shame we can't see it on this run, but it's more unique things to look forward to on the next run, even if it just leads to more recipes. Oh, they both woke up. Okay, so let's do that. Oh, you resist that, so then that on you. Oh, never mind, we're getting dragged into a 1v1. With Coco again. Ah, damn it, I was too late. Really? Not enough to kill it? Oh. Game says I'm sassy. Oh, okay. I don't think that's Mudkip. Is that like what? Like a Charmander? Totodile. Fair enough. I was one gen off then. I was the same type. I said Mudkip. I was closer than I thought I'd be on my random estimate. Well, I didn't really think Totodile was sassy, but sure. Yeah, there's that shit-eating grin. Alright, let's go see if we can access over here quickly. Whilst the heartbeat the heart pump machine starts sounding out in the music again. So that's the thing. I love this track as well, but that heart pump in the theme, like that does a number to me. I was like, no, I can't stay. I think the fact that it's glitching out like that tells me it's you can't break it. You have to come back later. You have to come back when they're closer. Yeah. And there's nowhere else. Let's leave. And I think that's everyone's, unless they're going to count ours well. Actually, Yuzu and Lime. We need to go get Yuzu and Limes. Yep, I knew it. Yeah, fair enough. Animator was pretty goofy. Yeah. It's just I wouldn't have thought sassy, at least to me. That was all. It just seems strange to me, but what do I know? The other reason why I'm looking for to New Game Plus is just see other animations more often. Because, you know, after we're now, like, what, stupidly high amount of hours into this game, it is starting to, you know, wear a little bit. There is a little bit of, like, okay, I want to kind of see, you know, I'd want to see Reinas a little bit more often, I want to see Hina's more often, but because I'm so used to this party and I've built my strats around them so much, I don't really want to swap either, at least for the rest of this playthrough, so I'll make that swap in the next one. And I already know exactly how I'm handling the next one. It's going to be the Reina and Hinako show with our main as usual, because I always prefer our central up until Hiyori joins, and then Hiyori will replace Reina, so then both of those two get around the same amount of screen, like about battle time. They get about half the game each. And the reason why I'm keeping Hina is because of her combo booster. I think in hard mode, especially when we get some of those later ones, it will get a lot harder. Yeah, Chikorita is sassy as hell. I mean, Chikorita had to have something, because in the game, Chikorita was kind of, you know, the one you didn't use. It wasn't like in the first gen, where, like, you might have, you know, might have entertained Bulbasaur, or you might have even preferred it, because Bulbasaur kind of had got an easy run of it for the first couple of gens. Yeah, thanks for the booty shot at the end there, but that was a cool animation. Chikorita was kind of just in Gen 2. It's kind of like, okay, that Pokemon exists. Alright, there's Yuzu and Limes, and that should be everyone, unless they are going to count owls as well. But I doubt it. Just call it a hunch, I doubt it. Speaking of this game, though, I am curious if they do make a third one, what they'll call it. Would they call it, like, Third Light, Third Wind, Third Strike, and it just turns into Street Fighter? Or, like, would they... Because I don't think they'll just call it 3. Build a device that will deliver everyone's emotions to Origin. Okay, so it sounds like you've done everything. Open up the final dungeon. You will do it. That's the reason Choker was next to the trash can in Gen 2. Yeah, exactly. Uh-oh, what's going on here? What's wrong? Did something happen? Yuki's helping us create our path to Origin. Yuki's fragment does have a faint thread extending from it, but it's a little too weak to use for this device. So Yuzu and I were discussing how to amplify the connection. They're checking me out. Ah, I see. We've been at it for almost an hour. I'm tired. This is good for everyone. Just hang on a little longer. If only there was something we could do to strengthen the connection to Origin. Strengthen the connection? Oh. Oh? There might be something that can strengthen the connection. Really? Yeah, then we can get Reina in here. Think about it. After we defeated the antivirus, there were still pieces that remained in the school, right? What if we use them as materials to build the device? The antivirus. It's true that attack was from the world system. It could work. Let's give it a try. Oh, I thought this was still... Okay. The origin gate. It looks like a button. So you hold it in your hand and you just press a button. I think making this will just, straight up open the final dungeon. Who do I want to be making it? Sure, Ao can help, Uta can help, Reina and Yuki. I think that makes enough sense. Alright. Origin gate. Oh, this thing's a lot bigger than I thought it was. I thought it was like a thing you would hold in your hand. Is it finished? Yep. Finally. That took forever. Good work. With this, the preparation should finally be complete. That's right. We're still not at our goal. But we finally started to see it. Hina? Yeah? There's something we have to tell you. Is it going to be that they're not going to be coming with her again? I think it is. Yuzu and I watch over the common. That won't change in this world or the next. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's saying if we do this, we're going to have to say goodbye again. That's why, after the world is rebuilt, we'll... Wait. Hina? You don't need to say anymore. I already knew that the time we had here may as well be a miracle. Hinako, Yuzu, Lime, are you? Please, Ao. Let us be like we were, just for a little while. Alright. If you say so, Hinako. Thanks. I'll be fine. Even if I lose my memory, the two of you will always live on in my heart. Yeah, I mean, that's what happened last time. Hina's like, I know it will work out. I'll never be lonely as long as I have them. Everyone is trying to be optimistic. I want to keep smiling to the end. Yeah. Got it. So this is the end, huh? Trophy unlocked, stealing our resolve. Create the origin gate. Final chapter. Okay, so 11 chapters for sure. End of summer. There's your confirmation. There is 11 chapters in this game. Oh, fuck. This is it. Yeah. I'm nervous, see you? Alright, I'll explain the process one last time. I will offer all of our fragments to this device. Then, we will focus all of our feelings into a single thought of rebuilding our world. Finally, using Yuki's power, we will deliver its origin. All we can do is pray and believe. Right. More or less the same as when we opened Ao's Heartscape. But this time we need to think about the old world. Think about our peaceful, uneventful, everyday lives. Alright then, let's get started. Isn't our soul technically being, like, a part of everyone else's because our Heartscape's only open because we cut off a part of our soul? How much of our soul she even got? This is... Did it work? I don't... Our emotions aren't reaching origin. It can't be. We failed. Was it my fault? No. We were able to open the pathway. Our emotions aren't unified. The small doubts, uncertainties and insecurities we all feel are pointing us in different directions. That's why our emotions didn't reach origin. Yeah, because everyone's got a little glimmer of doubt of, losing their friends, losing each other, what could be on the next step, what happens next, all that stuff. That was uncertainties, insecurities. I thought we'd made up our minds. It's nobody's fault. No one has complete and total control over their own heart. I'm sure even I have some worries of my own. Then what do we do? It would be no problem if we could just resolve these things, but these are matters of the heart after all. On the other hand, if we are able to get our emotions in line, we may be able to communicate with Origin. It may be true, but still. I have my own doubts. I'm sure I'll have to face them too. Hey, Yuzu, Lime, the other way around. What's the situation in here right now? We offered our emotions to Origin, but the process was interrupted. It's almost as if the emotions hit a snag somewhere along the way. So then what if we went inside directly and corrected the flow? What? There's no telling what could happen to us if we did that. Well, it wouldn't be the first time. Besides, getting my fragment taken out was a lot scarier. When you put it that way... I've been watching you all for a long time. I know you're not the kind of people who can be broken by something like this. I'm sure these doubts are really minor things. I think we just need a little push. So, who wants to try this one last time? I made up my mind. I'll stick with Al. Fine, bring it on. That was a proper dragged out. Fine. What about the rest of you? It's what, if that's what our leader has decided, I'll just have to trust her. That's right. Trust within a team is important. I've made it this far with Al. I'm not about to give up on her now. Thank you, everyone. Let's do this. Explore the structure. It's our final battle. Prepare yourself. Yeah, hint, hint. Do everything else you need to do before you go. And then when you click on that, I imagine it's just like you go straight into the final dungeon, right? Let me do one more crafting. Third glimmer, yeah. Speaking of the music, I wonder what the final dungeon theme's gonna be. Because I imagine it's not gonna be as simple as we go in. There's gonna be stuff that's gonna happen. Aha! This is why I wanted to run around first. Uta's rank 8 and maybe her rank 10 as well. Leaky roof before you go? Yeah, one last goodbye. Ow, there's something I'd like to speak to you about. I had a feeling there'd be a rank 8 and rank 10 event. Uta, what's with the long face? There's something that's been bothering me. I feel like you're the only person I can talk to about it. Do you mind? Of course not. Sunflower field? Yes, I thought this would be a good place to talk. Sunflowers, they must remind Uta of her grandmother. As I'm sure you've noticed while in my Heartscape, I've always had trouble relating to others. Before I regained my memory, I felt a strange flutter in my heart whenever I saw this field of sunflowers. I had always wondered why, but I never would have guessed I had such a close connection with them. Your grandmother planted them for you, didn't she? That's right. She mistakenly thought I liked sunflowers, and she often talked about them. My grandmother would always assume things about me, never asking my opinion while she fussed all over me. Oh, I know what you mean. My parents always nag me and misunderstand the weirdest things. Like if I say I like something they cooked, I end up eating it every day for months. Is that normal? But I was so annoyed with my grandmother that I avoided visiting her all the way until her death. The only time I visited after that was for the funeral. Until I arrived. When I arrived, sunflowers had bloomed everywhere. So that's what you saw in your Heartscape? That's right. They weren't always there. My grandmother planted them herself. I see. Her grandmother must have wanted to make Uta happy when she planted them. She must have worked long and hard to grow that many sunflowers. I'm sure she loved Uta a lot, but when I saw those flowers, and every time I remember it, my heart flutters. I've been unable to understand just what these emotions are. I want to know what it is I'm feeling. How can I help Uta understand how her grandmother felt about her? I don't think just telling her would do her any good. It'd be no different from just forcing my own opinions on her. How can I help her? Al, I'm sorry, this is a bother, isn't it? Not at all. I'm glad that you feel that you can talk about this stuff with me. It makes me feel like you trust me. I know you'll learn what that feeling is one day. I'll be there to help every step of the way. Al, thank you very much. Pathetic answer I gave her. I'm the worst. Oh, and that led to us unlocking a side quest. Can I trigger another scene? Or do I have to leave first? I'll probably have to leave first. What's up? Buddies on stage. Sounds like someone's playing music over the PA system. Having music playing faintly in the background like this feels classy. Uta, do you prefer listening to music over speakers, or are you more of a headphones kind of girl? Headphones, I'd say. I want to make out all the intricacies of the music. Yeah, I'm the same. I get that, and playing music over speakers might bother the people around you. But speakers have this special oomph to them that's hard to pass up. That makes me wonder, have you ever been to a concert? Have I? Unfortunately, I don't believe I have. That is unfortunate. When we go back to our world, it's definitely got to go see one. You can feel the music in your whole body, the beat thumping in your chest, pounding in your head. Is that fun? And I'm not really good with crowds. In that case, why don't we try getting used to that now, so you're really ready to give it a go when we get back? I think I'd enjoy that if it were you, Al. Alright, let's build a concert venue then. Alright, we're not done yet. A place to rock out. And there's rank 10. Then here's the rank 10 scene, never mind. We had to just trigger a transition. Would you like to go to the courtyard with me, Al? Sure, let's go. Thank you for listening to my complaining the other day. Don't worry about it, I'm just sorry I wasn't much help. That's not true. You were right when you said it's important to talk about your emotions. I feel like I'm able to understand them a bit better when I talk with you like this. That's great. I'm glad I could help. Also, I have a favour to ask. Oh, may I hold your hand again? Huh? Did you just want to see how I react again? No, I wanted to try holding your hand again. Okay, sure. Oh, I love this theme that's playing. Aww. It's warm. Screenshot that. Yeah. She never shows it, but I don't think those sunflowers are ever very far from Uta's thoughts. I don't know how to help Uta understand how her grandmother felt. I don't even know what it is she felt when she saw those flowers. I wonder what it was like looking at a giant field of flowers. And I wonder what it is she's feeling now. Uta's not broken. She's a person with a heart and feelings of her own. I think no one was willing to really try and understand her. Huh? I feel like I'm only ever thinking about Uta recently. I wonder why. I must just be worried about her. No, Al. Let's not downplay this. You love her. Something the matter, Uta? What were you thinking about? I've never seen you make that expression before. Oh, really? I was just a bit lost in my thoughts. Did I look upset? I noticed that holding your hand makes me feel quite strange recently. It makes me feel like I want to get to know you better. Perhaps that's why. When I saw you look upset, I wanted to know how you were feeling. Just want to know how I feel when I look sad. Does that mean Uta? She's feeling love, Al. Sorry to worry you. Is that worry I felt? Actually, I have an idea. Not sure if it'll lead anywhere though. Let's go to your heartscape, Uta. What? Are we actually? What's in her heartscape?
行き先はどうしよう。
Where am I going? I'm guessing final layer, right? Yeah, there's a scene at the end. Oh my, hang on. Hang on now. So rank 10s, you go back to their heartscapes. That's interesting. Does that mean when you max out Reina and Yuki's, you go back to their heartscapes and you get to talk about, like, you know, like the status of their relationship and like what they want to do in the future, that sort of thing? But yeah, Owl's absolutely feeling love. That's absolutely love talking, and she's like, and she just doesn't know what to handle herself because Owl likes to keep on kidding herself that she's straight. She likes to keep pretending she's straight. And the thing is, this isn't the first time either. When it was rank 6, and Uta first held Owl's hand, Owl made a point of saying this might have been Uta falling in love with her, and if that's the case, she'll accept it if that's it. She like even admitted like she would accept Owl and accept Owl's feelings if not Uta's accept Uta and accept Uta's feelings. I'm getting all caught up on my words because I'm excited, alright? That she would be accepting of it. So there's already kind of been establishment that she would be prepared to accept Uta's love and love her back if that came to that. Just need to get over there. Like, too sweet. I need to see how this ends. It probably won't end the way I hope it will. It'll probably just continue being Yuri baiting or like, let's be the bestest of friends kind of shit. Because, you know, they seem to be interested in keeping the pro tag... I don't want to fight that boss again. In keeping the pro tag neutral. But it would be nice if they gave you an option. I think that's another thing I'd like to see in a third game. And it's also part of the reason why I want Owl to still be the pro tag in the next one. To really give her that chance that she seems like so close to getting but not quite in this. Make it so the game gives you the option to actually officially like become a couple with someone. Obviously, to keep the empathetic, wholesome theme, make it so you can only choose one girl. Let's not have a persona and make it so you can start cheating. So I think that would contradict the theme of the game a little much if you could start cheating like that. And if they followed my idea anyway of making it so it starts with the main party but adds new ones on top, you'd already have a healthy selection and you wouldn't run the risk of someone, you picking someone, dating them, and then another character's introduced that you like more and kind of going, ah, damn it, you know? But I'm also aware they'd have to start with some of the new, the old characters already being kind of close for it to work. Wait for that vehicle to pass by. Alright, let's see what happens here. Aww. Here's one. A fragment of your memories. Want to take a look? My memories. We may see something terrible again. Don't worry. Whatever's in there, I'll be right here with you. Okay. It's a memory they share now. Imagine people seeing Let's Go to Your Heartscape, but then the event ends so they think it's over and never come here to see this scene. Yeah, I would have thought that would have been, it would have been obvious to come see this, but I don't understand. Your mother always wanted to show you this. She knew it would stay in your heart. I just don't get it. That was from my grandmother's funeral. My mother said that to me after showing me the field. But I couldn't make sense of it. The fact that this memory exists must mean that she was right. I don't know. Look, see how giant this field of flowers is? I bet it took a lot of time and a lot of work to plant all of them. I imagine that is true. I'm sure your grandmother planted these hoping that they would make you happy. But she was mistaken about liking sunflowers. About my liking of sunflowers. Even so, I don't think there's any doubt that she loved you a lot. I think she was hoping that seeing those sunflowers would bring you happiness. happiness.
おばあさんの
You don't have to change your mind about not liking your grandmother,
いいからさ
but I hope you can at least understand how she felt. I believe that I've come to understand something.
何
What's that?
星崎さん
Your hand is warm, Al. Huh? When I hold it, my heart leaps,
私の心
and I feel something strange.
ひまわり
Just like when I look at that field of sunflowers. What do you mean? It's okay.
大丈夫です
I don't understand.
大丈夫
It's okay. Someday I
わ
will.
かるから
Oh, now she's gonna take our hand.
やっぱり
Yes, just like the sunflower field.
今
I
感じてい
don't
る
know if
も
what
の
I'm
が
feeling comes from within
あ
me
なた
or
から
from
伝
you.
わってきたものなのかそれ
But
は私には分
oh,
かりません
yeah, I would be very happy if it was from you. What feeling? I believe you said it yourself, didn't you? I don't really get what you mean. Ow! She's saying she loves you. She's literally like she's dancing around it because she's slightly embarrassed, but she's saying that she loves you, Al. I am. Ow, you idiot! She loves you.
あったかいね
Warm, isn't it? Oh, all the sunflowers got their colour back.
暖かいです
Yes, it is. So there's even more reason to go back to all the old dungeons will like change their aesthetic when you come back to them. I wonder how much Yuki's would change when I max her out in New Game Plus. She was literally saying at the end there, because she was talking about, it's like, hey, maybe what you felt was your love for your grandmother, and she says, yeah, maybe, and she went, maybe it's what you just said, but from you and me. Like, she's literally saying, you're talking about love, I'm talking about maybe you. She's literally, like, that was so smooth, it slipped past Al. Like, but no, Uta loves Al, and all of my headcanons are confirmed. I won't be taking any criticism. Oh my god, this is huge. Put this over the shrine.
これは何でしょう
Oh, my heart. So this is the stage. We can see the entire venue from here. It's smaller than the real thing, but it still feels nerve-wracking to be up here. A huge crowd of people would gather in those seats to watch the shows. I don't know if I'd be able to calm down enough to enjoy it. You want to try having a mini concert with everyone? We can have the others put on a recital and watch it together. Like this. I think I might be able to relax and enjoy my first concert this way. Ooh. Activate on item use. It's a... Ooh, I will absolutely use one free ticket on that. So that means if I die at the final boss, I get one free ticket. When I thought it was looking any better, I see this. Yeah, see, that was... She was insanely smooth at the end there, but she genuinely loves Al. Like, is romantically invested and loves Al. What I'm going to do... Because my heart actually kind of went a little there. That shows how much invested I was. I was like, for the whole of that. I'm going to do these last few dates. And I need to wrap up earlier anyway because, unfortunately, I've got work this evening. But I've got tomorrow off. And so tomorrow, since I've got it off, tomorrow we're going to keep going until I finish, because I think that it's literally just that dungeon left. So session fucking 17 will be the grand finale of this game, which will be perfect because I usually take Wednesdays off. And so I'll take Wednesday off and then come back Thursday with Sonic Origins, and then we start NG Plus on presumable like Friday or Saturday. Oh, we got new things we can go talk to her about. New like random generics. I'm glad if any character we could manage to get to rank 10 before we finished, I'm glad it was Uta. Of all the characters to get the rank 10, I'm glad the one we got was Uta. Of all of them, you know? Because that scene meant a lot. That meant a lot to me. It didn't just mean a lot for the character things. That actually meant a lot to me. Like it was such a testament to Uta's character, of how far she's come. She had no understanding of emotion, of empathy, yet she fell in love. That's such a goddamn screaming proof of her development and how much she's grown as a person. And so to be able to see that, yeah, like that touched a few chords for me. I felt a little emotional near the end of that. Signs like this that tell me not to do something makes me want to do that thing even more. Like, I know it'll get me in trouble, but still. Do you mean... Uh-oh, what plan did she just come up with? Things like that. Hey, what was that? I've seen you do this to the others and get yelled at by them. I was wondering if you do things like that because you know they'll yell at you. I think I understand the feeling of wanting to do something you aren't supposed to. I may have taught her something I shouldn't have. It's a shame there's no extra animation. I was hoping when we hit max rank they'd be like arm in arm instead of just holding hands or something, but I can imagine that would have been a pain in the ass to animate. I think I'll be at Uta by then. Fair enough. I know a little secret. Uta facing herself and saying she'll understand one day was brilliant. Yeah, like all of it was perfect. It also makes me curious about what all the other rank 10s are, but if anything that just makes me even more excited for NG+. To be able to unlock and see all of them for what they are. And that is... Today's dessert is going to be cream puffs. Ooh. And so, I believe it's our duty to carry out some taste tests. You'll get in trouble again. It'll be fine. They're making a bunch. I'm sure they won't count each and every one. Besides, they taste better this way. That doesn't make any sense. Is it good? It's delicious. See? Okay, their relationship's getting a lot cuter because of all this. I also appreciate that you can still take them on dates even after you max them out, so you don't lose dialogue by maxing them out early by doing the extra scenes sort of thing. Because I was worried like Uta would get locked off. Get some sweets from Shio again. May I have some? Of course, we'll split them later. People who perform at places like this are so cool. I want to hear a big crowd calling my name someday too. I guess you could say, how is Uta's... yeah. Shut up! Don't be funny. I guess you could say, how is Uta's second light? Yeah. You funny fucker. I want to hear a big crowd calling my name someday too. You have an interest in performing, Al? Of course, I think everyone's imagined themselves as the front man of their own band. Everyone, you say? Do you have any experience with the guitar or other instruments? Well, I've mentioned it a few times before, but I can play the piano. Not brilliantly, but I can play the piano. It's how I identified that the Flea March was being played wrong in Danganronpa V3. Deliberately being played wrong to foreshadow a twist. Because Flea March is played on black notes, and in that game, Flea March is played on white notes to hint at a plot twist that one of the characters that you think is guilty is actually innocent. You could really make it happen if you practice enough, don't you think? I'd be interested in seeing you on stage as well. I'm gonna have to practice in my daydreams. The best part of fantasies is that you get all the good stuff without having to do any of the work. Well, I mean, if you've got a good enough imagination. I see, there's no limit to human greed. I have plenty of fun just listening, so I'm satisfied with that. Do you like music, Uta? I do. I find it able to stir the heart of even a person like me. I'm not super knowledgeable, but what kind of music do you like, Uta? What kind? That's difficult to answer. I always liked songs that made me feel like it was okay to be myself. I think it's okay to be yourself no matter what. If I had known you back then... No, never mind. Oh, she's saying, would Uta's debating whether, if she had known her back in her worst self, would Ao have been able to drag her out from that version of her, because of how empathetic and understanding she is of Uta's struggles. No, never mind. What kind of music do you like, Ao? Neither of these are video game music. I guess anime music. I like anime music a lot, though. I'm a little embarrassed to admit. Embarrassing? Why? I don't know, my hobbies are pretty lame. I don't mind talking about them with other geeks, but it's a little embarrassing otherwise. Lame? What a strange thing to say. I wouldn't judge you based on your hobbies alone. You have things you truly enjoy. If anything, I think I'm jealous of that. Makes me feel like my own world, and what I like is pretty small. In that respect, we're not so different. I'm sure my world is even smaller than yours. But it's the first time I've ever spoken to someone about what music I like. I'd never really thought about it much before. Talking about things I like, it's fun. Oh, speaking of... we can find new music we like. We should into a bunch of different kinds of music together sometime. That way we can find new music we like. I'm sure there are all kinds of CDs in the broadcasting room, and I bet everyone's got music on their phones. That sounds fun. I'd be interested to see what songs you like. And I'm interested to see what you like. I expect, well, I'll have different preferences compared to what I used to enjoy. Me too. I think that's what makes it exciting. Like, what if our tastes are completely different? I suppose that could be fun as well. Yeah, when I was younger, I used to be super into hard rock, but then I transitioned and saw the light and started really getting into orchestral rock. And then orchestras in general. Like, I love classical music. It's part of the reason, among many, part of the reason why I picked up trying to learn the piano in the first place, because I loved a lot of piano pieces and wanted to be able to play them. So I'm not great at the piano, but I can do some. Oh, hello, Yuki. Today is the day of the concert. It's been a long while since I've dragged Yuki anywhere. Huh? What concert? Don't worry about that. Let's head to the concert venue. I'm going to crank up the volume of the school PA later. I saw nothing, I heard nothing. If anyone's remembering Ao, it's this girl. Absolutely. I think in the normal ending, they're all going to forget Ao and she'll be like stuck in this realm sort of thing. And in the true ending, someone will remember her. That's my big hunch. That's my giga brain theory. That Ao will be stuck in the Oasis because someone has to stay to keep things in control and whatnot, and everyone else gets to come back and live their normal lives, even if they forget one another again. But Yuki and Reina, I think, will always find each other again. I don't think that's ever changing. I think they're just two star-crossed lovers, and they will always eventually find each other again. And I think in the true ending route, whoever you're closest with, or maybe in that end scene that I called out didn't actually add any talent points and seemed kind of sus, will dictate who comes and saves you. And who remembers you to come find you in the true ending. Anyway, how's everyone feeling tonight? Yeah! Thank you for coming out to my show! Oh, is that what you were going for? Woo! We love you, Yuki! Whoa, looks like we got a passionate fan in the house. I better put on a good show for you. Yeah, you sure are having fun. Having fun is the most important thing in life. You can't let embarrassment get in the way of that. Oh, they're words to live by. Is that so? The only person who can enforce embarrassment on yourself is yourself. No one else can decide that you should be embarrassed. or something. So if you want to rock it, you know, as long as you're not, you know, fucking breaking the law, do you. You do you. Don't let your hesitation affect that. Hey, that reminds me. Coming up, Al. The view from up here is pretty great. May I have this dance, Al? Since you asked so nicely. Yes, well then, right this way. I'm beat. How was it, Al? I feel way less stressed now. It really does help to do some exercise once in a while, huh? Oh, these two dorks. Yeah. But I think that's my favourite thing with Al as a protagonist. She's her own person, but she knows when to be more serious and more comforting, and she knows when to kind of lean into it. Like, when Yuki's up to her antics, she immediately goes, okay, no, they turn into, like, two sisters coming up with the same plan mode, if that makes sense. So they turn into two absolute morons together. Right? Especially me, since I always stay at the school while you're off exploring. Wait, is the reason you're so good at dancing because you've secretly been practicing on your own? Who really knows? You really are meant for the stage, Yuki. You look like you're shining when you're up there. You really think so? I wonder if I could become a pop star. Definitely not impossible. I mean, you might have to, like, get the stadiums be angled so the people in the back rows can actually see you because you're so goddamn short, but other than that... Dazzling radiance. And that's it? That's it. Oh. And we never got Shio to rank 8 to even see her rank 8 scene. Shio will be like the biggest focus in NG+. Actually getting her caught up with everyone, because it's kind of insane like how behind she ended up. But I think we're going to actually see what talents we can get. That's saying that's active. I'll get Reina E for speed. I'm going to have the gang sleep for the night, also check this as well, and then wrap up. Increases combo count 1 on 1. Instead of falling in battle, gear shifts down by 2. Will not activate if gears at 1. Ooh. And we got that one from Uta, so that's actually a really good one from Uta. That's another, that might be helpful in hard mode. Al, it's good to get exercise. Also, Al fights demons with a scythe. Yeah, and also, she says she's not good at dancing. If you've ever seen actual professional scythe wielders, you can only wield it in dance patterns. If you try to swing it like a normal weapon, it will never do anything. It's why, like, when she's holding the scythe in cutscenes, she holds it in a hyper-specific way. She holds it so it's like going down her spine behind her, because you have to make it into a dance routine when you use it. And so her saying that her like not being confident on the dancing or having an option to say I don't dance, I was like, I'm not picking that because she can. Because you have to. You have to have some kind of understanding of rhythm and flow to be able to use a scythe. How did I know there would be a morning scene? Oh, this is the last send-off scene, isn't it? Because it's going to be like freeze frame with like every character doing something. I've lost track of how many days we've been here. I met all of you here. Learned so much about feelings and memories. And, you know, falling in love with Uta. We went through tough times too, but... my life in this world was so much fun. That was a nice little scene. They didn't have to do that bit. Just a nice... one last, like, hey, remember these guys? Don't forget about them. And I think that's the thing as well. I'm not going to forget about this cast of characters anytime soon. Oh, I'll go get that. There are some games it's like, this is a super lengthy RPG, and I love it to death, and I love some of the characters, like Tales of Arise, for example. And it's like, I remember... Shino, or Shion. And I remember the main character whose name slips my mind, but that almost already proves my point. That I remember some of the characters, but I don't remember all of them. I just remembered the game and remember enjoying it, but the characters don't stick to me. This is a cast of characters I love and will remember them. Favorite stream so far. Well, just because of all the Uta-ness. Again, I want to ride again. Again, Mum. Alright, go ahead, dear, have fun. Yay! Thanks, Mum. Okay, that's Hiyori and Mio, probably. I was also dead wrong. I theorized that this stream would be us learning more about Ao, which is why I named it as such. I'm gonna have to rechange it to Uta, like something to do with Uta. I might say like Uta confesses to Ao. But that's everything, I think. I don't think there's anything else tucked away. Unless there's some random scene in the gymnasium, I suppose we can quickly check before I wrap up. Oh, also, in NG+, I'm going to make a point of trying to change everyone's costumes. I won't go, like, for, like, the fan servicey ones, because I don't like them, personally. But it's like, I'm going to have Al take her jacket off on the New Game Plus run, I think. Just so it's a bit different. Or have Yuki use her alt color. Or have Reina use her default color. Because I'm so used to her alt color, I forgot it wasn't actually. I forgot that her default is actually, like, brownish and not grayish. Uta in good conversations. But it's like Coco's, I might keep her in the white. Like Yuki's and Shio's, I'll change their alts. Hina I kind of don't want to change because her ult I think looks not good at all. But like Hiyori I'd have in white, and Mio I'd probably put back in white because I changed it to black just to try and differentiate. And Uta has a much cuter red look, so I'll change that, and these two we can't change unfortunately. But I think I'll mix it up. Like I will do a lot of little things that I can to help spice up NG+, because it is still, as much as the new little scenes are going to be cool, as much as the true ending is going to be worth it, at least in my opinion it will be. I have hope it will be. And have faith in this game's writing that it will be. And obviously we have the rank 10 scenes. There's still going to be a lot of going through the dungeons we've done before, but maybe even taking more time depending on how hard mode actually is. So if I can do little things like that to spice it up, I'm absolutely going to take it. But I think this is a good point as any to wrap up. I know this was a bit of a shorter stream, but as I am going to be busy later, so I needed to wrap up eventually. So next time, there is a very, very good chance, actually, we will finish this game. I'm almost certain it will happen. We're at that point. Yeah, end of summer, bound of the end. And you can kind of see a tease of what's to come from that image, I guess. It's ready. Time to make our move. No matter what we find at the end of this, I have no regrets. If we're together, I know we can pull this off. Sounds like a main character of some kind of movie. Anyway. Thank you all so much for watching as always, and I will see you guys tomorrow for potentially the grand finale. Until then though,